Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another Wide World of Electronic Sports. Yes, it's that time. We got to get it going. It's Monday. Episode 138 is upon us, and I'm running the show today. Brian Leffler, your co-host for Wide World of Esports, of course, joined by Rodney Conyers Jr. As always, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really well. I just got back from CEO, and I know we're going to talk all about that. But in the
Oh,
meantime, I'm doing good.
we're going to talk a lot about that. Yes, I'm going to be running the show, hopefully without too many technical glitches. Put your bets in now on how many times you will be able to see the Google Doc on camera. Um, it's also super hot here, and I just moved in this place. I don't have any AC yet, so I got like the door open, so I'm not only broadcasting to you, the world, but also the 6800 block of South 2nd Street. Because yeah, my door is open. Everybody can hear this because, yeah, it's hot, and I don't care. I got the fan going. Hopefully it's not bothering the mic too much. But let's talk about esports. We have so much esports to talk about, don't we, Rod? I mean,
We sure do.
yeah, I don't think you could have a more packed weekend to talk about because of obviously the elephant in the room, CEO. But let's get into some other stuff real quick, shall we? Let's get into maybe some Pokemon. Maybe some
Yeah.
Pokemon esports. Let me show you them. Pokemans. Yeah,
Pokemans.
we had the Pokemon North American International Championship this weekend, and that encompasses all of Pokemon esports. So we're talking the trading card game, the video game, and Pokken Tournament. Excuse me, Pokken Tournament. So yeah, which is awesome because it's cool that Pokken Tournament has kind of found this spot within the Pokemon NAIC, right? Because it didn't really find a spot in the FGC outside of that in tournaments really much further than when it first came out. It had that hype when it first came out, but it kind of died down quickly. But since then, it's been featured at the Pokemon NAIC, so everyone who plays Pokken Tournament at a high competitive level still has a chance to show their stuff off to the world. And let's start with the trading card game, though. Looks like we had Azul Garcia Griego winning the TCG Masters, and that was just fantastic. Rod, I don't know if you got a chance to watch any of this since you were so busy in Florida, but what were your thoughts on the Pokemon NAIC this weekend?
I had a chance to peek over at it a little bit. I think my role as CEO this year is a little bit different than what it was in some of the years prior, and we'll, of course, talk about that. But for the most part, though, I got a chance to see a lot of it. And when I watch Pokemon done at this level, and I know we've covered it just a few times because they don't really do events all the time, which is really strange. Most esports, you have events like every week, every other week, hell, maybe
Take
once or
out
twice a
Arceus
month. But
V
Pokemon
before
is more
Azul
so
has.
like we're doing like really, really small regional stuff, and then boom, here we are, nationals, or boom, here we are at Worlds. And I thought that this whole event was just amazing to see. I actually have a hat. I have a hat or two actually from a couple years ago. Jabali actually went over there and picked me up some stuff while he was running Pokken Tournament. But I love this. This just it really speaks to the young man in me. Really more so the child more than the young man in me. To see Pokemon done at this level and see it predominantly dominated by like pretty much people more than half my age, younger than me. I think it's just a really cool thing to see. Pokemon just knows how to keep speaking to the next generation of youth, whether it be with obviously selling things or obviously promoting the new games, the old games, however which way they got to do it. It just seems like the community stays as fresh as ever. And I know a lot of people make jokes about Pokemon, about like, God, who plays these games? Who does this? Who does that? I said, hey, look, you can say what you want, but I guarantee you there's a lot more money going into the TCG alone than there is for your favorite, fighting game, MOBA, whatever the hell it is you play. So, and I also like that as, Pokemon has a little something for everybody too at these events. Of course, you have the TCG, which, as you know, myself and Blake, we're big fans of for different reasons, but we still have, a big love for the TCG. Of course, the actual video game itself, as prevalent as ever, and of course with new games coming out, new old games and new games, there's always going to be something new to talk about. I believe they ran a little Pokemon Go as well as Unite, and of course The one that probably hurts the most is Pokken Tournament, with this being its last year at Nats, and of course, this is going to be its last year at Worlds shortly after.
Wow,
So
last year for Poké Tournament, I had no idea it was going out. That's a shame, because I've really, like I was just saying, I've appreciated how they've kept that game going as part of their championship circuit, and now that it's disappearing, I hope it'll find a way to I hope it'll find a way to find some tournament play. There it was, right there. Google Doc, everybody. I hope it'll find a way to stay in tournament play, to stay in competitive play, to keep those high-level players coming back to it. Because, it just sucks to lose another great game like that. I really liked... Tekken is obviously a great game, and we'll talk about some Tekken later on. But to see that spin-off into a Pokemon game, I thought was really, really awesome. And I can't think of another successful Tekken spin-off other than Pokken Tournament, which is really, taking a hold like that one has.
I have to agree. With even like Street Fighter Cross Tekken, like that didn't hit like how it was supposed to, and I guess that's really more so a spinoff of, at least that version of it was more of a spinoff of Street Fighter. As we know, there was supposed to be a Tekken Cross Street Fighter one that never came out, unfortunately, but my heart will go on, unfortunately enough. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you. To see Pokemon and Bandai Namco team up the way that they did, Nintendo and Namco as well, just playing nice like that to create essentially, I know it wasn't designed to be this, but essentially another fighting game that feels like a fighting game for the Nintendo Switch was completely unheard of, because at least when it came to the fighting game department, Smash pretty much had that all sewed up. But to see the cultural boom that was Pokken Tournament, that even though it still felt a little different than Tekken, like of course Tekken being the 3D fighter, this was more of like Dragon Ball meets kind of like a Samurai Showdown / Street Fighter type of thing. I've always felt like Pokemon just prides itself on innovation, and if nothing else, when we look back on this game in another 10 years, because it's hard to believe this game came out in 2015. We're coming up on it pretty soon. We're definitely going to look back and smile at the innovativeness, behind it. How Pokemon was able to take a head-to-head dual cabinet thing that we were only really used to seeing in Japanese style arcades, like with Street Fighter and stuff, and do it with Pokemon. So cool.
It is really cool. And speaking to that, obviously we have the results up here on screen. Mutator defeating Elm in an explosive match. Yeah, this was really awesome to watch. I watched a little bit of it before the show today. Watching this Mew gameplay was very impressive. Definitely check it out if you didn't get a chance to see it. But that wasn't all. Of course, there was Pokemon the video game. So, we got to talk about that one a little bit. And in there, James Evans became the new video game champion. So, that's always really cool. This at least is never going to go away, right? There's always going to be a version of the Pokemon video game, because I feel like this NAIC, it kind of really started when the card game got super big, when it just exploded back in the day, and they were able to combine it. Obviously, why wouldn't you combine it with the video game? And they did it on the Game Boy, with link cables and everything. But now with the newer game, I wish, I think it'd be cool if we were able to see them bring back some of the older games in these events. It would be really cool to see that. Obviously, they're going to use the latest version of Pokemon whenever they do these. It's cool to see, but don't you wish you could see, if they could maybe bring back, just the Game Boy Advance generation, or, one of the Game Boy generations, just to mix it up one year, or at least as a side event.
Yeah, bro, I definitely agree. I think they tried something, well, maybe not Pokemon, but I know that even Pokemon done it like a regional level before, corporate gets involved and makes it a stop on, whatever sort of circuit they're doing. I know that Pokemon Red Blue re-released for the DS, I want to say about 6 or so years ago. And we actually ran a few tournaments for that back at home. Of course, we had to modify a few things because the meta was vastly lopsided back then. Psychic types were broken. And then, of course, there was the whole struggle clause where, like, if your character doesn't have any attacks left, use up all your power points, but then you're going up against a ghost type, the match kind of just hits a stalemate. So there's just a lot of stuff that that Pokemon knows how to implement when it comes to like that nostalgia chip in your brain. Yeah. But I do agree. Or even like an old Pokemon TCG game. Like I would
Yeah,
love to see
exactly.
just all
Just
base set,
base
all of
set
that.
tournament.
Yeah,
Speaking of
that'd
which,
be
yeah,
dope.
Slime Hunter, what up in the chat? I was gonna mention this next. I was waiting for my turn because I had to mention this pop off, the James Evans pop off. Can you believe this? It is insane. I love it. Yeah, this guy knows how to pop off for sure. This is an FGC pop off right here, even though it's for Pokemon. And his opponent was from Brazil, so like this was an international championship, which I really like to see as well. Definitely cool to see. But yeah, that pop off, well deserved. Well deserved, James Evans. Get your pop off. What'd you think, Rodney?
Dude,
About
it was funny. I'm being at CEO all weekend. Like I've seen pop offs everywhere, like of every
Oh
size and
yeah, I'm
different
sure you were.
stature and flavor. But I think it hits a little bit different from Pokemon. When I play like games competitively, I know we've talked about this a few times. Like I try to figure out like how to draw a comparison to it. Like fighting games for me feels like math. It feels like it's a game of probability. Of course, you do know what you're doing, but there is a lot of guessing that goes into it. But when I think of like Pokemon, and I think of like the amount of steps ahead you have to play with your opponent, because a lot of it's turn based, or like even if you're trying to play steps ahead in one direction, somewhere you have to split off. You have to find the fork in the road. And well, if this happens, I might have to break glass and then play a couple steps ahead over here in this department. And it's just fun to see. I personally know that I just don't have like the mental fortitude to do it. But so I completely understand somebody as talented as this young man here to pop off the way he did. Like I get it. It means a lot, and
Yeah,
Pokemon does a really good job of highlighting players to the whole world, like not just a region or a state or whatever, like letting the entire world know, hey, you just beat everybody's ass. We'll see you at the next one.
and it truly is a global, a globally popular game. Obviously, like Pokemon is played all over the world in every region. I'm talking every region, not just the more common ones, but we're talking Africa, we're talking Antarctica. I'm sure there's somebody playing Pokemon down in Antarctica right now, down in the research centers, whatever they got going on, the alien laboratories. But anyways, yeah, congrats to the Pokemon NAIC. Super awesome to see that event pop off for another year. Very excited to see it next year, but not so excited that Pokken Tournament's just not going to be there. So, maybe rethink that. Maybe rethink that.
You know what? This is a good chance though. Like I feel like we see games come out, they're partnered with the company, and then like the company drops and moves on to other things. Like I think the most notable one of the last so many years would be like Marvel versus Capcom Infinite. You couldn't go to a Capcom Pro Tour stop, whether it be Canada Cup, CEO, Combo Breaker, whatever, and not see Street Fighter V and Marvel ran. And on the topic of Marvel, of course, there is a little bit of interconnected tissue there between Marvel and Pokken Tournament, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, that is, because there was a big campaign. Which one of these two games are going to be featured as a side community game at Evo? So we've seen kind of like this, first year partnered on the big Pokemon World Tour. It's at Combo Breaker, it's at CEO, it's at Evo. Then the next year, it's like a side thing. Then the next year, it's like a side thing. So I think this is like good for research purposes. Friends out there in the community, your game is not only as popular as CEO or Combo Breaker will allow it. Like you, as a grassroots fan, you have the power to determine how long your game lives on for. This is coming from two guys who love Super Smash Brothers Melee. Like you get to do that.
Yeah. Or you could, this would be best case scenario, since Pokken Tournament, obviously Wii U and then ported over to Switch. Switch is a much higher, much more popular install base. Maybe Pokken Tournament 2 in the works. And maybe we'll see that at a future Pokemon NAIC. That would be my dream come true.
And maybe no field phase. I'm sorry, Pokemon Lit. No field phase this time. Like, if you want this game to live, just let the FGC nerds be FGC nerds. Or I would even be down if you made it like a 3v3 anime thing. There's a fuck ton of Pokemon. You guys probably have the most fucking characters of any franchise. Come on, man.
Make it a team fighter. Yeah, if it was a team fighter, like you were saying, Marvel vs. Capcom, that would obviously work. That would be really fun. But let's move on, because we gotta get into the biggest topic of the day, the biggest topic of the week, maybe the biggest fighting game community topic of the year. if Evo doesn't pan out so hot. We'll see. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty good, though. That's CEO, of course. It was this weekend. Rodney was there in Daytona. Let's go away. Yes. I'm so excited to talk about CEO. Let's get into it. There's so many results to get into. So first, let's talk about... You want to talk about some good-ass Tekken? Ronnie?
Of course. I mean,
you want to talk some good ass Tekken?
Does the sun rise in the east? Yeah. You know I want to talk about some good ass Tekken.
All right, of course. Let's talk some good ass Tekken. So break it down. What happened this weekend in some good ass Tekken? Because I'll go over my thoughts because I was actually watching as well.
Yeah, I had a chance to peek in over. It was really tough for me. I was in Land all weekend, which is like the free to play arcade area. Which, by the way, they did a lot of really awesome ass tournaments over there as well. Samurai Showdown. Puyo Tetris, which is a personal favorite of mine. I know a lot of us at Shacknews like that as well.
Yeah.
A young man by the name of OSW, young 13-year-old prodigy, whooped everybody's ass. I mean, this kid is a goddamn robot. It was so nasty. Of course, we ran Super Street Fighter Turbo. We ran, of course, Street Fighter 3, which I believe Justin Wong won. And I actually have a funny story about that. So I'm hired, obviously, by Red Bull to do this thing. And before every match, I'm like, hey, I have to just interview you real quick. It don't got to be anything long, but just, hey, give me your thoughts real quick. If you want to talk some shit, get it out right now. This is the room to do it. I mean, really, CEO is just the place to do it, but you can really get kind of sweaty and greasy in here. So everybody's like doing their thing. And then I go up to Chris G, right? So they're all doing like a button check. He's the only one that jumps right into the match. So I'm interviewing him and I'm like, hey, what are your thoughts on this match? And he's looking at me. He goes, buttons. And I'm just like, what does that mean, bro? And I'm looking at him and I'm like, bro, did you start this match while I'm interviewing you? And the audience is just like, oh, no. Like, God, you're bothering this guy while he's playing. I'm like, oh, no. He's bothering me while I'm playing. You got it wrong.
I love it.
Chris G has been on enough national stages to know the way. I'm joking. All jokes aside, though, I love Chris, man. And, I mean, that's just, again, the craziness that is the FGC, man. It's just all fun. But Tekken was amazing. And I'm starting to notice maybe a shift in the meta. First and foremost, Jack won a major. Not happy about that. Not a fan of Jack. I mean, he's fun to commentate, not fun to fight. His pokes are ridiculous. I don't care how slow his sidewalk is, any of that other shit. He's not a fun character.
He's a big boy.
He's just that's a whole lot of robotic man. And Anakin piloted that character like a goddamn monster, man. We finally got ourselves a W. America. Like, is this a turn of something maybe new to come for Tekken?
It might be. I mean, we have strong players. We have a strong player base in Tekken. We have Anakin. We have Cuddlecore, who unfortunately didn't make the top 8 this tournament. Very unfortunate. We had her on the show. We'll definitely, we'll hopefully have her back again to talk about, this tournament and more. But her opponent that she fought earlier and sent to losers, Casual Cody, ended up taking 8th place. So congratulations to Cody. Anakin topped Book in the grand finals. Joka getting 3rd. I mean, you can see the list up on screen. Jen, Rangchu, Super Akuma, and Junya, making up the rest of the list. Just really, really strong representation. But 3 out of the top 8 are American players. So you were just like you were saying. I think we might have a little bit of NA Tekken dominance coming up. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm down for this chapter in Tekken history, possibly. I mean, I know we've had a slight one before, but I'm down to, rehash and maybe rewrite some narratives, get some new illustrations in that book. Another really good thing to note too is that I think Book, Jen, first of all, Book is a phenomenal player. Like, nothing taken away from there, but Jen is a very powerful character. I was in the Red Bull truck. So there's Land, and then in the main arena, there's a big old ass Red Bull truck. Of course, we've all seen these types of contraptions before. It's big, it's blue, and there's video games and drinks in it. So we're in there, and they're like, hey, how would you like to play for a CEO fight stick? Now, as somebody whose fight stick collection is super booty, I'm like, why the fuck not? So I jump in this, and I'm playing with the guy. He's standing next to me, and he plays Jin. So I'm like, okay, I think I know the Jin matchup. I think I got this. Jin, I don't know what has changed. I haven't really fought like the Tekken meta here as like within this last year or so because I've been playing other games. But Jin, very, very powerful. I could understand why this character makes it into the top 8, or hell, better yet, the grand fucking final. So we're probably going to see a lot more Jin and Jack, which I think is good. I think Tekken is a game where you get a lot of character variety as it is, and a lot of player variety, and those two things going hand in hand in a game like Tekken, it's really good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Tekken that I watched this weekend. I watched mostly top 64s. I didn't get a chance to check out the top 8, unfortunately. Other than what I watched before the show today, which was a little bit. But yeah, what I was watching was really nice. I got to see Cody send who was it? Oh, he sent a prominent British player to losers. Go. Man, I'm about to look it up because it was a really nice match. Yeah, but everything was really nice. It was so much fun that I had to bust out my fighting stick and pop Tekken 3 onto the old CRT and play a little bit while I was watching. And yeah, it was so much. It was so much. Gosane, that's right. That's right. It was right on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, Cody knocked out Gosane, which is a really good get for him. And it was just like he took that and then was able to take that momentum and propel himself all the way to top 8. So, to 8th place, which is really awesome to see. Get like just one more American player in that top 8. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, very nice to see that. But there's so much more to talk about, though. So let's get into the next game. And I think the next game we'll talk about is, what do you say? Let's just knock out a few that we don't really want to, cover in depth, so we'll just go over the standings. Guilty Gear Strive, I didn't really get a chance to watch much of that. Did you watch any Guilty Gear Strive this weekend?
I caught a bit of it.
Okay.
I'm trying to jump between both rooms because actually 2 games ran really late at CEO. That was Ultimate, and then of course Strive, I believe, is the last game of the night, which respectfully, it definitely deserves its shot as the last game of the night. Those are pretty big shoes to fill, and of course CEO highlights these games perfectly.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that was it. I'm just I'm trying to run over here and watch Tasty Steve and Rip bring the axe over here, but then I'm like, okay, I got to run back over to the other side because this one's on break. All right, guys, let's bring us home in Ultimate. So it was a tough one this week, and I know Asif in the chat, he was saying, man, it was a tough week to watch video games. I'm like,
absolutely.
Dude, who are you telling, in person and online? There was just so much shit happening.
Yeah, it was a very popular game this year, though. A lot of entrants in Guilty Gear Strive. So, yeah, really cool to see that. Jonathan, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this last name right, Tene? Jonathan Tene over Razzo in Guilty Gear Strive. So congratulations to him taking that win. Let's get into some King of Fighters. King of Fighters 15, Tamago over Violent Kane. That's a brand new game, so that just came out. So really cool to see that getting high level play already in what might be the biggest fighting game event of the year. Arguably the biggest fighting game event of the year. Is it the Super Bowl of fighting games? It's getting close. It's Evo and CEO are just right up there, and with its like wrestling aesthetic and everything, I'm really liking CEO. Just every year they're just stepping it up, and I mean, back when they were able to have like live actual performances and everything, like just never seen anything like that at CEO. I mean, it's getting crazy, the stuff that Jabali's doing. But anyways, yeah, King of Fighters 15, brand new game. What did you think of that one?
King of Fighters is amazing. I've talked about it a few times here. If I had to pick up a new fighting game, at least, prior to the Tekken, the Tekken, but the Street Fighter 6 announcements, because I know once everybody's seen that on our team, we're like, oh yeah, we know what fighting game we're picking up next. But King of Fighters is definitely another one I would like to add to my repertoire. From what I've been told, I've never actually had a chance to play. It's a bit more technical. You know what I'm saying? Like the combo system is a little bit more airtight than what some of the other fighting games are offering, which isn't bad. I think a fighting game, especially of King of Fighters caliber, should have as much resilience and finesse implemented to it as possible. So I didn't get a chance to watch any King of Fighters, sadly. But I did hear that, they had a great bracket, which, really sucks because what better way to really get a good idea on how good a game is going to be, not by watching a trailer or some shit on YouTube or all the cool clips are going to post to Twitter, but watching real human beings play these characters. So big shout out to the King of Fighters community, man, for holding it down as CEO, because they know that was a big fucking deal for them.
Yeah, it was a huge deal for that community. Our resident King of Fighters player, TJ Denzer, who was just on stream, also plays a lot of Guilty Gear Strive. But yeah, he is loving this new game. I saw a combo video he put on Twitter. I see you, TJ, putting your combo videos on Twitter. You keep it up. I want to see more of those. But yeah, it's just I'm a big SNK fan, from going back to the big red cabinet with the 2 to 4 games or however many the cabinet at your laundromat had. But we had I remember the 4-game cabinet, and that just introduced me to the world of SNK games, King of Fighters, Metal Slug and everything else. But I really remember how there wasn't really any competition to Street Fighter 2 in my opinion back then, but I saw these games on SNK cabinets and I was like, wow, maybe there is some competition because these look really nice. And yeah, I've loved King of Fighters. I really like the Real Bout series and everything. I love all of these games that SNK has been making, and I like that they're able to keep that tradition going and keep at least one of their core franchise alive. So yeah, it's really cool that 15 has come out to positive reception and is still, the franchise itself is still doing well. But I'm glad to see that this game has found a core audience who is willing to fight for it and bring it to tournaments.
Yeah, and I think they went about it well. I think that was one thing I think King of Fighters had always been missing in comparison to like Street Fighter and Tekken was, okay, we got a new game coming out. How do we promote this as well as possible? Now, of course, there's always going to be set aside budget to do a trailer, to do cool new conceptualized art, whatever. But I think what they did was they took their characters and they put them in new environments. First and foremost, they put Geese I believe Geese is from Fatal Fury originally, put Geese into Tekken, and he was a very, very good character fresh out of the gate, and for a very, very long time. He wasn't like Akuma broken, but he was pretty goddamn good. And then of course Terry over into Smash. But then a lot of those side characters also make appearances in the background on Terry's stage. So I think they're in a very, very prominent spot, and I would like to see King of Fighters. 15 installments. I want to see them maybe one day get that finals block on Sunday. No disrespect to Guilty Gear. Of course, an amazing game, but I think Tekken, of course, has had it. Even Dragon Ball got it a few times. Street Fighter, of course, is probably always going to be a shoo-in to have it. There's no doubt about that. But King of Fighters in the big arena coming through those monitors, I'm here for it.
True. All right, let's move on to the competition though that we were just talking about, and that is Street Fighter, of course. So Street Fighter 5, IDOM versus Menard. This was just a great set, of course. Great to see. What were your thoughts, Rodney?
Mana RD is just like...
Yeah, Mana RD, sorry.
Like, he just... oh, no, you're all good. He just... there's just some players that you just look at and you're just like in utter disbelief, just in a good way of just like, how is this guy this goddamn good? I think if I had to draw a comparison, maybe like over to Smash, like my comparison would be like Mewtwo King. Like I look at Mewtwo King and I'm like, dude, how do you play all these goddamn platform fighters like this? And it's not like you're playing them a day apart. You're in a brawl bracket and I'm pulling you over to a Project M bracket and I'm pulling you over to Melee and I'm pulling you over here, and you're just boom, sharp, never missing a step. Mana RD, I believe, has some history in Smash. I think he played more, I want to say Little Mac for a little bit. Don't quote me on that, but it was actually pretty okay. And of course, with him being a Capcom Pro Tour final champion, I think, he knows what it takes to obviously compete at this level. So Street Fighter 5, I think what it really needed, it needed a Mana RD, good run, because I think this game is just not, God, and I don't want to sound disrespectful to Street Fighter 5. How do I put this? I just feel like the game is just not where it needs to be, if I'm being real. Like, it's a fun time, but after spending so much time with Street Fighter 4 and Third Strike this weekend, it really kind of dawned on me. I was like, man, Street Fighter 5 just felt a little stiff, a little too esports, too industrialized. I don't know what the word is. And I'm glad that 6 is here to kind of get that return to grittiness, that return to just like that grime. And I think, one key ingredient to that grit and that grime is of course, making sure that good players do what they're supposed to do. The main RD, of course, being one of those, and that big fan favorite, if I'm not mistaken. So very happy to see how that all went down.
Yeah, really cool to see. IDOM obviously taking that set, though, getting the championship. So congratulations to IDOM. Congratulations to Mana RD, though, and all of the finalists, all the top 8 finalists. This is pretty much the swan song for Street Fighter 5. This is going to be the last good ass Street Fighter that we're gonna see basically for 5 anyways.
If there is such a thing.
Yeah, exactly. If there is such a thing as good ass Street Fighter 5, I don't think so. Probably not. I don't think anyone's ever put those words together. But they might start putting it together for Street Fighter 6, as you were saying. The game was so exciting, got so much hype going around it. It is literally dripping in hype right now. Just everyone is super pumped over the trailers that we've seen, over the gameplay that we've seen. So yeah, that next year is definitely going to be really, really incredible. But let's move on. How about some Dragon Ball Z fighters with all the Z's? Wawa taking it over Shanks. Did you catch any Gokus? Catch any Vegetas this weekend?
I caught a tail end of a few matches. I was able to take a big break in between emceeing because that's what my job was in Japan. Like, you know, the commentators were like, "Oh man, I wish I could do what you did all week," and I'm just like, "Bro, I was working this weekend." Okay, I mean, I'm always working when I'm at events, but this was the one where I was like, "Okay, I'm emceeing literally on the hour, every hour, another game." But some games are top 8, some games are top 4s. So like one game I think didn't show up. You know, it was a community ran game, and like the TOs might have just fumbled the bag. So I'm like, okay, cool. I got a break. When I'm fucking dart over to the main arena and try to like stand in the middle of CEO and just try to multiverse jump into each one. So I caught a little bit of Dragon Ball Fighters. Of course, another personal favorite of mine, and it just kind of reinforces the idea that every game that I've picked up after Tekken and Smash just doesn't seem to last long. But I will say that CEO has always had a good and a rich history with Dragon Ball Fighter. Some of my fondest memories, especially when it came out in like 2017 or 18, were at Combo Breaker and at CEO doing the Go Tanks, you know, the volleyball thing and everything. So yeah, super excited to always see Dragon Ball Fighters go down. But I didn't get a chance to catch a lot of it, but I did sit in the audience for a little bit and see a few matches.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, Dragon Ball Fighters has just basically become one of the go-to anime fighting games for tournaments. I mean, it still gets solid turnout. People like to watch it. It's exciting. You know, it's a great team fighter. Yeah, I don't think it's the last of this, and I don't think this is the last we're going to see of this franchise either. There's got to be a follow-up for this. It was so popular. It sold so much. And there's definitely more places you could go with this.
Yeah, I hope so. And whatever another version they come out with, hopefully they don't add 1,000 Gokus. I'm sorry. I think the one thing that really soured me, well, there's a few things that soured me to Dragon Ball, but I guess you could say that about all fighting games. I mean, of course, you know, we share a similar stance on Street Fighter 5, but you know, when I look at Dragon Ball, I'm like, okay, sparking was kind of whack in the beginning. Like, I got you beat, and then you spark, and now you're still here. This match is going on a little bit too long for an anime fighter, and then the 12,000 Gokus, and then of course the broken ass Kid Buu, Android 21, Android 16, Lab Coat. Like, you know, there's just sometimes it just gets a little lopsided in Dragon Ball.
I think what would be even a more popular move is if the team could secure just a new franchise, you know, and take the next game into just another long-running anime that has so many characters, you know, just like Dragon Ball has, you know, hundreds of episodes, if not thousands of episodes, and there's so many of them. There's Naruto, there's One Piece, there's Bleach, there's, you know, you go on so on and so forth, that they could go on with. If you could get one of those, if you could get this sequel to be a different franchise, what would you be shooting for?
Man, this is tough because I really liked Jump Ultimate Stars when that came out for the original Nintendo DS, you know, 1,000 years ago. And that was a platform fighter, of course, but it's hard. I mean, there's so many good animes. I think I would, and this is just me being me, I think I would want to see a crossover, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, literally take, you know, the Jump Ultimate Stars arena game that they have right now, which is a good game. I'm not an arena fighter guy, but it is a good game. You know, take that and then, you know, copy and paste that into what we have right now with Dragon Ball Fighters. I would imagine that would open up the door for a lot of new fans, you know, getting Naruto and Luffy, Yugi in there, so many different types of cool characters and just letting them brawl it out. I mean, that would also cut back on the amount of goddamn Gokus. I mean, we need the mainstays at this point. Give me Goku, Vegeta, you know what I'm saying? Gohan. Give me 2 versions of Gohan. I'll take 2. You know, you got to do teen, you got to do adult Gohan. Even throw in the Great Saiyaman if you want. throw in a couple cool characters, but then let the Dragon Ball universe be its own little self-contained thing. Give me some Naruto, some One Piece, some Yu Yu Hakusho. I mean, you get where I'm going with this.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. We got other team fighters to talk about. If I can segue, that easily. So, one that I couldn't even find any video on is BlazBlue Tag Team. Couldn't find any video on that, unfortunately. Cake over Cade Ray 24. So very good. Congratulations, Cake. The other BlazBlue game I did find some video on, but we'll get to that. But I want to talk about Marvel. Wins Marvel, Rodney. It's right now. The other team fighter at CEO, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, New York Chris G over Mundank. Yeah, did you get to check out any Marvel?
I did see some Marvel.
Okay.
Any Marvel. When's it? When's Marvel?
It's right now.
I did get a chance to watch it. I know, and it's amazing as always. I mean, I know we talk about Melee being the greatest esport on the planet, but I feel like if there was any fighting game to ever give it a good run for its money, for me, it's definitely Marvel. Because I could sit and watch a Marvel
2?
Top 8 VOD. Oh yeah, Marvel 2 or 3. I can sit and watch a Marvel VOD all day on a Sunday afternoon, bored as hell. Yeah, man, Marvel is amazing, and I'm actually a little upset that it wasn't in Jabali Land this year. But this kind of goes back to the topic I was talking about before, where like your game being a community game one year, maybe it could go up and be a main stage game. It maybe not, like, of course, with the company backing. There's no way Capcom's going to drop any money on Marvel 2 or 3 right now. But to get in the main room though, like it's going to get packed and crazy, and it for damn sure did. It was cool. It's a good story. To really highlight, not even just for the gameplay. Of course, most things Chris G does on the sticks, always great to see. And he was in 1,000 brackets this weekend, by the way. So for him to perform as well as he did here, I mean, big shout out to him, because we just talked about him doing threes and a bunch of other King of Fighters, I believe, earlier too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was so dope, man. And CEO does a really good job at allowing communities to thrive and move up. Not saying that like Combo Breaker and Evil don't. They definitely have those, like, that one or two thing that like makes them so different background wise than the other one. But I think what I really love about CEO is that you could be stuck a little loosely. You could be in Jabali Land with me as a side community game, still just as hype, still just as many people crowded around a setup watching two of their favorite, killers play. But you also get that opportunity to move up. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom did it, or no, Capcom 2 did it. And I believe Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 also went over to the big room too. But also another one that did it as well was Def Jam Fight for New York. Def Jam Fight for New York, the first year I interacted with it at CEO 2018 was in Jabali Land with me, and it had a fucking audience. And I was like,
it was hype.
This can't be in here again. Then in 2019, I commentated the top 8 in the main arena with Katana Prime. Big shout out to the legend right there. I was like, yo, this is fucking crazy. I was like, what's next? And sure enough, it wasn't just a side game. It was added to the main lineup as well as Marvel too. So, Jabali, Tong, Ryan, I know you guys are probably going to go back and watch this. Big shout out, of course, to you. Marvel lives on because you guys give it the proper. You guys might not you guys have a helping hand, obviously, in growing the community. But more than anything, you guys lay the proper foundation for other people to come in and really help raise this thing as their own. So to see Chris G still rocking and rolling in the big room, that was so dope.
Yeah, Chris G took the win. But what's more, or what another story I want to talk about is how a lot of these, your Chris G's, your Jay Wongs, I mean, you have these guys who they've been in the scene for a long time. They play a lot of different games. They entered a lot of different games. Jay Wong, I don't think he placed top 8 in Marvel this year, did he? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't believe so. And it's I don't want to say it's concerning, but it's something to definitely think about. Like, wow, these guys are really playing this many games, and like, how long can you play this many games at this level of play? Like, you're getting consistently top 32s, top 8s, hell, even winning some of these tournaments, some in Jabali Land and some in the main arena. I mean, there's a handful of players where the TOs are like, okay, we have to wait. They kind of get YouTube.
I'm sorry. Jay Wong got 5th place in Marvel vs. Capcom. He did place in that one, but there was another one he did not place, which was Turbo. Or no, he got 5th in Turbo.
Yeah, I think he got 5th in Turbo as well. I was in the room for that. And Turbo is I put it this way, Brian. I sometimes forget how minimalistic some of the fighting games of the early 90s were, late 80s, early 90s. And let's just say I have fucking Tiger and Tiger uppercut stuck in my damn head and Hadouken.
Yeah, actually, Jaewong placed in pretty much all of the old school games. I mean, he placed in Turbo, placed in Capcom, placed in Third Strike, placed in Ultimate, obviously, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So, yeah, like, congratulations to him for sure. But let's talk about the game that he got first in. And that was one that was super hype, I heard, because you watched quite a bit of that. And that's Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
Yes.
Yeah, so Jaewong was able to take first in Third Strike, was able to get a belt, this year. So congratulations to Jaewong. I mean, Asif was saying that, big ups to the olds for, proving that, you can still be a veteran in the FGC and take a top placing at a tournament like this. Because, Jaewong obviously has been in the game for as long as any of them. And, for him to take Third Strike is really exciting to see. So, talk about that, because I know you were there to see quite a bit of it.
Yeah, so Third Strike was the one. It was the one in Jabalion Land. If had we had Marvel versus Capcom 2 and 3 in Jabalion Land, those two would have been, just as packed. But I think the big four that weekend would have been Turbo, Third Strike, Ultimate Street Fighter 4, and we ran Samurai Showdown as well. But threes packed the audience. They were in there, I want to say even like Thursday, like helping set up, making sure that, these threes players, they had a chance to set up, properly and efficiently, adequately in comparison to where they are in the room versus, I mean, this is still some very serious shit here. And I actually had a chance to like meet more people from that community. These are people that I literally see at every major. Like when I go to a major fighting game tournament, I'm like, oh, there's that person. But I never really knew like which community they came from. Now I know it's Third Strike, and seeing how crazy long Third Strike has been played at this level, it makes sense why I've been seeing these people all the damn time. Of course, Justin Wong, I think if he should win anything, just obviously given his track record and history, Third Strike just makes the most sense. Yeah. I mean, we know that. But Chris G did really well too. A lot of people did really well. I got a chance to see a player by the name of Cookie.
Yeah, Chris G got fifth, and Cookie got fifth as well.
Yep, they tied for fifth.
Yeah.
Two players I've seen pretty much as long as I've been in the fighting game community at all these events. Like, hey, don't know your name, but now we finally get a chance to sit down and chit chat. And I'm like, oh, you're from Third Strike. It makes sense. This game lives on. So because of that, you and your skills will live on forever as well. It was just nice, to MC the audience, an audience that was definitely ready for that. Some of the people that we had, for the other games were kind of just stragglers, like, okay, I'm gonna sit and watch for a little bit. Okay, this isn't my taste. I'm gonna leave. But every fighting game in the world, every fighting game community knows Third Strike, and they know when that starts, we're leaving the main arena and we're going to Jabalion Land. And I think it just, to see Justin Wong do what he did, there's a lot of really hype moments. I know sometimes Justin Wong can be maybe regarded as maybe not the most exciting player in the world, but though, just even the sheer idea of him just playing this game, again, given the history, was enough to keep people
He's
glued.
a GOAT. Jaewong is a GOAT. Yeah, certified GOAT. I mean, exciting. I'm excited to watch him play, so I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, I'm always excited to watch him play. I mean, I just use like Street Fighter 5 again for an example, because I don't want to dunk on any of the other ones, but I think he played Manat for a little bit in that game too. And I just remember like reading the chat, people like, oh, this is so boring. It's just this girl in this orb and she's throwing it and blah, blah, blah. Like, I get it. I understand. I get it. But you know what though? You don't turn into a Justin Wong overnight. You got to find the most optimal, most efficient way to win. And guess what? Justin Wong is always going to fucking do just that. He's always going to find the most optimal way to beat your ass. And he sure enough did it here at Third Strike. So
sure enough.
Big shout out to the legend. Yeah,
big shout out. So big belt for Jaewong taking Third Strike, and a super hype game. But did you know, not one, but two belts for the Jaewong, because he also took first place in Capcom vs. SNK2. I was not able to get any video B-roll of Third Strike, unfortunately, as I don't think it was it streamed?
Third Strike was streamed. It was streamed on 10 Media.
Okay,
I
I
think
see.
it's the same channel I linked for the Puyo Puyo stuff.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah. I wasn't able. Yeah, I wasn't able to find any on YouTube. So people need to get that up on YouTube pronto, so more people can watch it for sure. Because I would definitely like to see that. But moving over to the other game that he was able to get first place in, and that is CVS 2, Capcom versus SNK 2. Another great mainstay, another great game. Back when Capcom and SNK first were like, "Hey, let's do the crossover thing. We'll give everybody the matchups they've been dreaming of this entire time." And arguably, kind of undeniably, Capcom's game was better than SNK's game. So SNK versus Capcom just doesn't really get the love, I feel like, that CVS does. But at least we were able to get one of them at CEO this year. And I was able to watch some of Jaewon play this, and just another solid win for him. Were you able to see any of this one?
Some of it. A lot of the games actually weren't streamed in Jabaliland, which I thought was a little unfortunate. But as somebody who worked behind the scenes with the two gentlemen in charge, Diamond and Domo, of course, from Duo Studios, big shout out to them. I hope to see them at more events because they do phenomenal fucking work. I told Jabali this too, and I guess I'll just let the stream know. Jabaliland is a great addition, to have a free play area, free play arcade area where the community can come in and kind of step in and run their own tournaments, games that weren't able to quite make the cut for the main room or whatever. Come run them over here, have some fun. Just as much fun. If not, maybe depending on who you are, maybe a little bit more fun. We do got DDR in this room. But the point that I'm making is that there's just so many damn games in there, and the communities are so packed that, we really have to pick and choose which ones want to be ran. And I think you have to submit it early. Like, I'm talking like right when the CEOs announce, you got to like, yo, I'll do it. I'll be the TO for this. I'll fucking herd these cats. You know what I'm saying? We'll try to get them in one room for at least an hour and run this and stream it. And so some games just don't make the cut. I would have loved to see, both BlazBlues ran, but unfortunately we didn't see, or we've seen one, but not the other. One was ran in Jabaliland in the past, of course. This game here that we're talking about with Justin Wong and so many of the other ones. So, Jabali, look, Jabaliland is so damn big and so important now. It has to be its own thing. I need a Jabaliland Twitter. I need, however you got to put your fucking face on it, because I know you're going to figure it out. Do it, okay? Because I want to see a whole separate thing just for this.
Yeah. Real quick, how awesome is this rally car desert stage with the 3D rally trucks like jumping over the characters as they fight? That's just dope. This game is dope. I really like to. I really like that it was at CEO this year, and I want to go back and watch more of this VOD because this is just solid Capcom action. But moving on, we got still more games to talk about because they ran every single game. They're just running every game.
They ran them all.
They're running them all. So what haven't we talked about yet? Let's talk about Mortal Kombat. We haven't talked about any Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 11 also got some representation, and I know you're a fan. OD Full Auto taking it over Big Daddy G in Mortal Kombat. Congratulations to Full Auto. I didn't get a chance to watch any of these, but did you watch any Mortal Kombat?
I did get a chance to peek in and watch a little MK11. And again, I think MK has all fighting games, of course, have a rich history. I know I keep saying that, but I think Mortal Kombat for sure, especially just given like where some of the people who are most prominent in the community are from, and just looking at the history between Combo Breaker and the CEO, I think, to see Mortal Kombat done still at this level is awesome. Because I know we've been talking so much about like Street Fighter 6 and the next installment, but the next installment I'm waiting on is Mortal Kombat 12. 11 was cool, 10 was my jam, 9 is the one, but for me, Mortal Kombat 12 is what I'm waiting on, and I got a chance to watch some of it, and it was so cool, man. It was nice to see Katana Prime commentating again. It's been so damn long. He's the goddamn legend. He's one of my favorite casters. He's one of my favorite people in the community. So to see him back on the mic doing his thing, to see this game still ran like this, such a pleasant sight. It really makes me excited for Evo as well. It makes me excited for Evo. I think, NetherRealm sometimes doesn't, I'm not going to say they don't get the recognition they deserve, but it's just, there's other games that, some games have to be Sunday games, some games have to be like Saturday night games. But I tell you what, for anybody watching this, do yourself a history lesson. I've never seen a crew battle as crazy, at least in the traditional FGC. And maybe, fuck it, the whole FGC. I don't know if I've seen a crew battle as crazy as Combo Breaker 2019 Mortal Kombat. That was nuts. And if that's not any indication that you should stick around and keep watching Mortal Kombat top 32, top 8, 1v1 grand finals, I don't know what is. Oh shit, is Austin here? What's up, Austin?
Yeah, I think we got Army of Techno running in with is it?
Yeah.
During Mortal Kombat, is that the technicality running
No,
in?
yeah, sure. Field chairality.
The field chairality.
No, so you know me, I'm just a spectator here on my butt watching the stream, right, Rod? So
Yes.
like, I want to tell you a story about God, was it Evo 2019 or 18 that Mortal Kombat Top 8 was on a Saturday? Do you remember that, Rod?
I do.
It was late in the day. And you know how it is at Evo, man. You're on your feet all day. You get that folding chair, you drag it to whatever screen you want to watch. So
Yep.
I fell asleep. I fell asleep sitting in a folding chair during the MK11 top 8 at Evo, like surrounded by people. I just fell asleep. And in true, just I don't know, things coming full circle. This Sunday, man, I don't know what it is. Mortal Kombat 11 is like I got Mortal Kombat 11 specific narcolepsy or something because that shit. I fell asleep on the couch during that part, man. Like that good ass Tekken, I was up. That third strike, I was up. That Tekken 3, I was up. That Tekken 7, I was up. The Melee, you best believe I was up. But MK11, man, I don't know what it is about that game.
It's not a boring game. It's just maybe there's something soothing about it. Maybe it's your personal white noise.
Maybe the graphics are just so good that it just feels like you're watching a movie and you're just like, wow.
Yes, I think that might be part of it, Rod. Because like the fatal blows are so cinematic, and like it, I don't know, it doesn't have that like. If you blink when you're watching Tekken, you could miss like a huge moment.
Yeah, you could miss a full like a 10 string.
Yeah, and I don't mean to say it like in a negative way. MK11 just feels kind of slow to me.
It is.
I mean, comparatively to newer games, yeah.
Especially when you're watching Melee, you know, like and you're jumping between. I was jumping between Tekken. Yesterday was so hard to be a spectator. Like you want to hear like the first world problems of all the first world problems. It's like, how was I supposed to watch Summer Games Done Quick and Tekken and Melee and Ultimate? It was like, and you know, MK11 was in there. But yeah, it's just, I don't know if it was the time of day that MK11 was on, but this is now twice that and one time I was literally there. And I fell asleep during it. I don't know what it is. I think it's the pace. Something about the pace of play. And it's like, you know, like the meta is pretty much there now. Like it's solidified at this point, you know, like there's certain characters that you're going to see a lot of, right? There was like a Sonya that made their move, you know, and all that. Like, I don't know if maybe it was the characters I'm just not that interested in. Was Sonic Fox even there?
I don't think I've seen Sonic Fox.
His name wasn't in the top 8, so I'm guessing
not. They're not. Yeah,
yeah.
So
or their name wasn't in top 8. Yeah,
they're like the best Mortal Kombat player in the world. So it's, and this is something I think you guys are going to talk about later. I'll probably stick around for. There were some moments during CEO where I was like, "Where's this player? Where's this player?"
Yeah,
you know, and it I don't mean to take anything away from the competition. They were great competitions. I think TOs did a great job. I think production was awesome. But when you don't have every one of those best players, it doesn't have that feel that an Evo would have. You know?
Right.
I just think like it felt at times like we were watching super regional kind of action.
That's actually a good way to put it. And I think one thing I've come to find out is that CEO is just sometimes a hard sell for people. I think, you know, as the world begins to move in the direction that it's moving into, people are starting to realize, and I don't want to throw this word around too loosely, but it's like people are starting to realize the danger of Florida, whether it's something that, you're dealing with on a one-to-one basis, or it's something where it's like, I just don't feel welcomed here. And given the climate, there's a lot of people in Florida who are fucking crazies, and Jabali does a really good job
Florida
at
man,
through
you gotta
them.
watch out for him.
Florida man, but Jabali does a good job at keeping them away from the event. But unfortunately, the event is just a little self-contained bubble. You still have to leave and go out into the area, and so it's tough. And I would love to see more people come, and to hopefully not play Mortal Kombat 11, but Mortal Kombat X, because I said that's my jam. That's a faster game, so I'm with you.
Yeah.
11 is slow.
Okay, so I'm not wrong that 11 is kind of slow and plodding compared to some of the other ones. Like,
Facts.
Okay, yeah, it's just it. And I know, like, it kind of fell out of rotation at Evo. It had like a bit of a resurgence because this netcode wasn't total dog shit. But yeah, I don't know. I'm with you. I'm super ready for 12.
Yeah.
And I hope they make a, like with Street Fighter 6, I think it opens the door for Mortal Kombat 12 to be there. But to your point about Florida, and I know Vicky's from Florida. She lives in Miami, right? I saw her tweet thread this weekend about being stalked by 6 men. Daytona Beach is a very sketchy place.
Very.
And that's where CEO is held.
Yeah.
And there's some people may just pass on it because of the location. And I get that. But yeah, Vicky's total professional. Made all their slots in the next day. Great caster. I really enjoy seeing her back commentating Smash. I know she kind of moved on to Apex, Overwatch League, and has expanded really as a commentator. Still, like, one of the best Smash Ultimate commentators, Smash 4 commentators we've ever had.
Easily.
But yeah, that her story this weekend, it kind of highlights what you're talking about, Rod. There's a stigma attached to Florida, if it's fair or unfair, but there is a stigma attached to Florida, and things like this don't help that case. But man, like, I think it's weird when you have like Arslan Ash, best Tekken player on earth, not there. MK Leo, best Smash Ultimate player on earth, not there. Zane, best Melee player on earth, not there.
Yeah,
not there.
Yeah, that's actually a topic we were going to get into after going over all the results, because you're right. That is a very interesting thing. But before we get into that, let's bounce back over from Mortal Kombat to Street Fighter. But before I do that, to your point, yes, Mortal Kombat 12 needs to happen. They got to answer back, right? Because Street Fighter 6 is poised to take over. Yeah. So, but let's bounce over back to Street Fighter, and that's Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And before I do that, I want to transition over to the B-roll that I have, because this is probably the most beautiful B-roll I have ever had the privilege to show. And this is, of course, his grand finals, Super RV versus Domdai. And if you'll notice, you'll see in the background 2 wonderful Versus City candy cabs. And then who is this? None other than Rodney Conyers Jr. emceeing the grand finals. So, Rodney, take it away. Please tell us all about Super Street Fighter.
I gotta say, the beauty of the fighting game community is that you can get just about anything under the sun in terms of play style, in terms of matchup spreads, whether they be player spreads, character spreads, whatever the case may be. I think I learned a lot watching this game done at this level. Every time I think I have a game figured out, I see a new one and I'm just like, oh, I see. I get the method to the madness. And for a game like this, I'm like, all right, you can be dead in 3 hits. First of all, that's the beauty of this game. Okay, you can get fucking Tiger uppercutted 3 times, the match is over. And so the amount of patience, the amount of resilience you need to go into this game is just completely absurd. It could be even like a matchup where, like, in Tekken or like Smash or whatever, there's a lot of key outside elements, a lot of weird things that the characters can do where that makes the matches a little bit more even in the middle. But dude, you could be playing Balrog and be stuck. I mean, I'm talking stuck, and you're just getting Tiger and Hadouken, and you have to now play this game of chicken. When's he going to shoot it versus when can I get in and charge through it? when can I use Zangief to lariat through that shit, you know? So I love watching, Street Fighter 2 done like this. It was such an amazing thing to see. I'm just more than anything else, no matter how it ended, of course, I mean, we know how it ended, but I just love the neutral. I love the patience. It just let me it reminded me why I love the fighting game community. It's not because of the Evo moments. It's not because of the crazy smash, losers bracket runs, or even the good ass Tekken. Because like Asif, I am also an Arslan Ash fan. But it is just it's the math that goes into fighting games, and you see those numbers crunched in all, but you see them crunched times 3 in most Street Fighters, especially the older ones. It was just incredible. That was another game that packed the house in Jabali Land. With the other ones being, of course, Samurai Showdown, Third Strike, Ultra Street Fighter 4 that next morning. But that one there, though, that was a showstopper. And there's a lot of old heads in the room. I'm talking like, full head full of grays, just in there, getting crazy in the front.
Well, this is Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo we're talking about here. I mean, it's basically the ultimate version of Street Fighter 2. Like, this is, if you're going to play Street Fighter 2. Now, there are differences, and there are people who prefer the original Street Fighter 2 over Turbo, over Super Turbo.
Don't people prefer hyper fighting too?
There are some hyper fighting fans. Yeah, you'll find your fans of each cabinet, but I really like Super Turbo. I've gotten the chance to play it in a more I guess accurate way thanks to the Mr. FPGA, and I never really got a chance to play it before, and it's a fantastic game. It's definitely, like Rodney says, though, if you are not careful, you will be gone before you know it. I mean, it's a quick game. I mean, it takes Street Fighter to the next leg. It takes Street Fighter 2 right up to 11 for sure. So who won this grand finals, Rodney?
I believe it was Damdai, because he played in a couple of the top 8s this weekend. Some unfortunately weren't streamed, which again, Jabali, if you're watching this, we got to get all those games streamed because there's just too many to highlight. But I believe Damdai won, and to your point, I do agree. My anxiety watching like high stakes situations, like it's always like crazy, but it's scary. It's scary times 10 watching it in Street Fighter 2 because, like you guys said, you can be dead in 3 hits.
Rod, what day was the grand final on? Was this a Saturday or a Sunday?
I think this was a Saturday one. Sunday ended with Sam's show and kicked off with Ultra Street Fighter 4. I think we ended the night Saturday with Killer Instinct, but the third strike and both Turbo were in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So, like, not to your point though, not every tournament was broadcast at CEO, right?
Unfortunately,
that seems like. And I get that, like, there's bandwidth concerns probably, but there's also just production concerns. Like, there's so many different stages at an event like that. Would it make sense for them to at least record them and just upload them to YouTube?
That was what I was thinking.
Yeah, because, like, I understand, like, I know these events, how much they charge for upload. So, like, there might have been some kind of constraint on that, and we don't have the inside info on that, but like when I see it, I'm just like, damn, I really wish, like, if these things were more prominently streaming on Saturday, I probably would have watched more. Because I am an old head, right? So, like, I'm more interested in some of these old ass games. When you say Sam's show, is that the new Sam show that they were playing?
I don't believe so. I think it was the previous one because this one, if I'll find the VOD and we'll you and I and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But the audience was very we've talked about like the community's thoughts on like Halo or like the Smash community's thoughts on like the Smash World Tour and the Panda Cup or like Nintendo. The audience for Sam's show had some very interesting words for SNK. Especially for that Samurai show. And they're like, where the fuck is the rollback? Okay, a game is only as good as its rollback these days. We could go into lockdown. I mean, they're saying this. They took the mic from me, like they're yelling at the audience, like it's getting crazy. Like, yo, we need fucking rollback. So, yeah, but it was all streamed on 10-0 Media. So that, so it was all streamed there. But it just, regardless of where it was streamed, I just felt like a lot of these just aren't promoted as well as it should be. And I was like, Jabali, please promote these. This is Third Strike we're talking about. This is Turbo. People need to know where to find this shit.
Even if there's like, there might be an opportunity for him to expand the CEO brand to like CEO Retro and like really push the retro side of Jabali. because it does seem like a magical place. Every time I've never been to a CEO, but I've heard enough about Jabali Land to want to go there. I'm that gift.
That's actually a really good idea, like a CEO retro that would focus on, basically anything that's old, that all the old heads are playing. Yeah, like Turbo could be there, Third Strike could be there. You could have every version of Street Fighter there if it was an event, dedicated to, the retro games. And yeah, you could have way more SNK representation.
Papa John's probably doesn't want to sponsor
the
geriatric tour,
Probably
but
not.
let CEO have its shine and be like, here's Guilty Gear Strive, here's Tekken 7 and stuff. But honestly, that Tekken 3 tournament was probably one of the most entertaining things to happen all weekend.
See, I gotta watch this. I fired up Tekken 3 just to while I was playing. I didn't even know there was a Tekken 3 side tournament. I gotta go and watch that.
Listen, let me let you guys know a secret. So the Jabali Land fonts, I wasn't able to grab a t-shirt, but the Jabali Land font is done in the Disney style font.
Okay.
Yeah, no surprise there, right? So if my calculations serve me correct from what I've just heard him say, and Jabali says a lot. He's one of those people where, like, if you let a person talk long enough, they're going to tell on themselves. So I believe a Jabali world is on its way.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a Jabali world. As if CEO wasn't a big enough Jabali world with the Chipotle and the Jabali fried chicken and everything. A Jabali world is in the works, and I would like all of us to be present for that, so we can just go crazy for threes or whatever it is that he decides to do in this new room exhibit, whatever the fuck. It's gonna be crazy.
All right, let's get into let's cover some more of the smaller games that were played though. BlazBlue Central Fiction, not a small game, I mean, obviously, but not gonna get the entrance that say Strive did or Street Fighter. But yeah, so BlazBlue Central Fiction, Monarch over Rio. Congratulations to Monarch. Street Fighter 6, Klob over Farrah Muntress. Were you able to watch either BlazBlue Central Fiction or Street Fighter 6?
Street Fighter 6?
Yeah. Or I'm sorry, not Street Fighter. Soul Calibur. I'm sorry. I saw 6. I saw 6 and I was thinking Street Fighter. Sorry, no, Soul Calibur 6. The other 6 that has been out for a long time. Klob over Farrah Muntress and Soul Calibur 6, and Monarch over Rio and BlazBlue Central Fiction. What were your thoughts on either of those games?
I'm going to say, I think the only people who got a chance to deal with Street Fighter 6 would be Greg and Oz, if I'm not mistaken. I'm a little jealous about it. It wasn't at CEO, which I thought like they'd have like a setup station or something, but no. Anyway, that's a story for another day. Soul Calibur is another fan favorite of mine, and I did get a chance to peek in and watch a little bit of it. Like I was saying before, Jabali Land had like a tournaments on the hour every hour, or if not, literally every 30 minutes. Like we'll just run like a top 2 or top 4, and then get that game out, swap it out, get a new one in. So I was able to kind of catch a little bit of Soul Calibur, and it was cool. I think Soul Calibur again is another one that gets slept on. It's another favorite of mine. Now I don't love it as much as Tekken, and I can understand why it doesn't get as much recognition, but I just think for what the game is and for what the game asks for, one of the best fighting games on the planet, just in terms of balance and just raw neutral and skill for me, is the PlayStation, GameCube, and Xbox version of Soul Calibur 2. Like it has a rich history of fighting game fundamentals, and it just doesn't get the shine it deserves.
Well,
no, I agree with you.
Wrong, but why hasn't 6 gained traction? Like it got like one Evo, right? Before it kind of fell off. Is it just Tekken is so much more entertaining?
I think so.
Well, I think it's not only that, it's just I think Soul Calibur 6 had also a very tough time for online play. So it just didn't get the audience. So whenever it was appearing at tournaments, it just wasn't getting the draw. And I feel like Soul Calibur, the name itself just doesn't have the cachet that it once had among the larger, FGC for sure.
So if we were on like Dreamcast 5 right now,
if we were on Dreamcast 5,
like Soul Calibur 6 would be like the hot shit. But
of course,
Dreamcast failed. It's almost like the failure of the Dreamcast to blame for this.
Well, I mean, Soul Calibur 2, it had its. I mean, it wasn't even on the Dreamcast. It was on, the big 3 at the time.
That's true.
But even I think Soul Calibur after 2 just hit such a rough patch. I think they've just haven't been able to build back the goodwill that they had back when, it was the greatest, weapon fighter around.
That's actually a good point, because I think it's sometimes baffling to me, and I'm glad you touched on that, Asif. I think there was only one Soul Calibur for the Sega. Like, or wait, well, there was a Soul Calibur one, and there was another.
Well, there's Soul Blade on the PlayStation.
Soul Blade.
Yeah, that was a PS1 game and an arcade
everything
game.
else after that had been for, the other home consoles. And when it comes to, like, I guess, like, the promotion of Soul Calibur, like, 3 was kind of like a bit of a snooze fest, but it was still playable. And then 4, like, they hit you with the DLC, got Yoda the Apprentice, Darth Vader, and all that cool shit. But after that, it just didn't hit like how it was supposed to. And maybe that could just be like I think it's a Bandai thing, right? Maybe they're just, or Namco rather, where they're just like, okay, we got to focus on Dragon Ball. We also got to focus on Tekken 7. We got 3 big games. One game is going to get shafted no matter what.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best point you could make right there.
Yeah, and they definitely invested more in Tekken on the esports front. Like there's a Tekken tour. There have been multiple seasons of content for Tekken 7. So I get that. And honestly, just as a fan, I support that more. But yeah, it's interesting to see, like, there's still people out there playing Soul Calibur that not me.
And then 2 more games to cover before we get into the ones that we really want to talk about, and that's, of course, Smash Brothers. We had Grand Blue versus and Melty Blood. So Ren over Shuyabu in Grand Blue versus Scrot Million taking the win over Hyde in Melty Blood. I didn't get a chance to watch either of those, but being anime fighters, I'm sure they will get their representation in the upcoming other news I wanted to talk about, and that's CEO Taku being announced for later on this year in 2022, September 23rd through 25. So yeah, what did you think of those 2 anime fighters if you got a chance to check them out, Rod?
Anime fighters and Combo Breaker and CEO just go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And just to see the audience that had built was awesome. I didn't get a chance to get close enough to see any of it. But I did see the crowd of people just surrounded around the area and watching, all the people play. A funny story, actually, at Combo Breaker a couple years ago, they were running, I want to say, a Blaze Blue and a Sailor Moon or something. And there were so many games being ran that the anime community was like, you know what? Fuck it, we're going to run it in the hallways. And they're literally running it up and down the hallways of the hotels and where the food area is and everything at the Pheasant Run. And mind you, Pheasant Run's a decently sized hotel, but it ain't the biggest hotel in the world, especially not to be running tournaments in the hallway. And I think that there's just a level of passion and push and pull that I think the anime community just has that some of the other fighting games just traditionally don't. Even when we compare the brackets for what was ran on stream and off stream, most of the stuff that was ran off stream but efficiently were the anime fighters. They just do their thing every time.
Yeah, and we're like I was saying, we're going to get a chance to check out a lot more of them at CEO Taku. Do you think you'll get a chance to head to that one, or are you done going to Daytona Beach for the year, Rod?
I don't have and I'm also speaking from a place of privilege to some degree, but I don't have an issue with, my time in Florida, but I'm also, a 6-foot tall black man and stuff too. So I get it. I spend more of my time at CEO just protecting my friends, making sure nothing happens. So not to harp on anything bad or retouch, but even the Vicky situation, I'm like, oh my god, the one time I break away from the team and the group, crazy shit happens and you get catcalled by creepos. And so I do like going to Florida a lot. I do have a decent time there, but Taku is unfortunately one that I'm just always going to end up missing. I'm not the only anime fighter I'm really into is Dragon Ball. It just wouldn't make sense for me to go, but I would love to go as a spectator, not with the idea of work in mind, but to pull back up at the Wyndham and have some fun, eat some Wawa. I love me some Wawa and I love me some fighting games. What better place to do that than, of course, in Jabali's little self-contained universe?
Absolutely. All right, let's get into Smash. Of course, Smash was also at CEO. One of the biggest majors for Smash of the year, obviously, is CEO. I mean,
was it? Was it really?
But what? Yeah, was it really without some representation, without some key representation? You make a very good point. But first, let's talk about who won. We had Sonics taking the win over Riddles in Smash Ultimate. Rodney, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the Smash Ultimate play this weekend.
Rod,
talk to me.
Were you there when Sonics won?
I was there.
How quiet was it?
It was the craziest mix of audience cheering I have ever seen at a Smash Ultimate. Now, maybe not Melee. Melee's a little different, but between Brawl 4 and Ultimate, I'm like, the audience just didn't really. It was like one half of the audience didn't know who to like root for, and then the other half was like a very vocal minority of like, I'm not cheering for Riddles, but I am going to boo Sonic. And then it was flipped. I'm not cheering for Sonics, but I am going to boo fucking Riddles. I don't like Terry and Kajua. So it was weird. So when we've talked about Sonics here in the past, I think, Asif, you were on the episode too, where we talked about how well he's been doing in the collegiate bracket and how even though he is enrolled online, he still can legally play on these teams. So, he's been very warmed up. He's been beating a lot of ass all around the world here as of late. And again, with the missing, MK Leo, who is most notably absent. I mean, he's like super absent. He's been in Europe for at least 2 weeks now. Spargo's he's on his hiatus. Not exactly sure what happened with Light and some of these other fellas. But again,
also,
it's Florida.
Glutony wasn't there.
Yeah,
he was Gluto as well.
Yeah, Gluto's not there. Spargo's taking a leave of absence. Leo, let's just say it. Leo does not give a fuck about Panda Cup.
Leo just doesn't give a damn about any of the circuits, and I like it, and I also hate it at the same time. Like I love it because he's using like his influence to highlight other regions.
Yeah,
like, I know he's going to Colossus, which is the same weekend as Gamo. I'm like, oh no, Leo at Gamo, that's gonna hurt. I love Gamo and I love Leo
because he does not give a fuck about the Panda Cup.
Because he just knows like he's gonna show up to both of the circuit's finales, and he's gonna quite possibly beat everybody's ass.
Yeah,
he saw the prize pool for Panda Cup and was like, I'm out.
You think so?
Yeah, he's like, I could go to France. He probably got paid appearance fees to go to France.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Because for that tournament you would want Leo there. I mean, for any tournament you would want Leo there.
Like, I think Leo is a very smart business person and has a very good team around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think Nintendo, whatever the hell their relationship is with the Panda Cup, it's not working.
Well, Nintendo's not paying any money, that's for sure.
I heard all the commentators, Coney especially, hammering it all weekend that this is the first officially licensed Nintendo Smash event. And I was just like, what does that even mean, Cody? You're not even saying anything with that. And it's like, for it to end like this, Rod, with Terry versus Sonic in the Grand Finals?
Dude, I know.
What are we talking about here?
This is like, it's like when it reminds me of like at Smash World Tour, like the first couple matches on stream were like Sonic and like Rosalina or something really crazy like that. So I mean, I commentated the top 8 years ago. I did CO 2017 top 8, and that top 8 was incredible. And they've all been pretty good. This one was pretty good too, but the grand finals I just felt was like, I mean, let's be real. There's already a very like minimal layered narrative attached to Ultimate with these players. We know Riddles wants to get that first major win under his belt. We know Sonics is coming hot off of the collegiate ass beatings, and he's about to beat some international ass here, quite figuratively and literally. And I was like, now what else? It wasn't enough draw. And then the characters aren't really all that like, given what happened at Battle of BC. Of course, we had T and Riddles, but really more so Riddles, piloting these fighting game characters, just beating everybody up. It's good it's good in small spurts as a spectator, but then when you start seeing it over and over, you're just like, some of these characters are just fucked up. All right, they're kind of broken. And and not to take anything away from Riddles, it's just, damn, what the hell?
Yeah, but would you consider this a major win for Riddles?
I mean, it could have been if he won it, but there's always going to be a narrative attached that like,
yeah. I mean, like for either of these guys, like is
right
with the player field where it is, no Light, no Leo,
yeah,
like really, you had to beat the Buzz and Tweak.
Pretty much. I mean, you bring up a good point. Like, would you go home thinking you won a real major when there was no major people there?
It's true. I think I guess as an esport player trying to move around with sponsorships and stuff, I guess it's an industry, it's a resume win. But in terms of like those personalized, like, fucking did it, like second biggest argument, maybe first biggest fighting game in the tournament in the world. See how EVO goes next month. But I fucking did it. And it's just like, well,
let's see you win a tournament like with everybody else playing, you know?
Yeah, well, kind of like Spargo at Low Tide City. It was like, you know, he did win, but I interviewed Leo. He was absent, and he was like, yeah, I mean, I would like, you know, everybody to do well. I just wanted to eat barbecue. Spargo wins. It was like, you did, but we're no Leo, though.
But Spargo has proven himself against Leo, whereas some of these other players have not.
That's true.
Didn't Spargo win Summit?
Yes, he did win Summit. He beat Leo.
Yeah,
he beat,
Leo couldn't reset
everyone.
Yeah,
so that's what I mean. Everybody. Like, we saw Spargo defeat everyone in a tournament, and I honestly think Summit is kind of positioning themselves as the tournaments to be at. Like, you don't see Leo skipping those because those prize pools for one event are bigger than the entire Panda Cup. So, like, I think that might have something to do with it, Nintendo.
Shout out to these hotel lobby chairs that we got going on for the Smash Melee Grand Final.
I know.
By the way.
No, this is the Ultimate Final.
Yeah, the Smash Ultimate Final. I mean, like one of these lobby hotel chairs.
I think what ended up happening was there's an issue with sponsorship and the DX racers and the gaming chairs. Yeah, from what I was told. So there was just some things that kind of slipped through the cracks, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how true that is, but I mean, I'll be real though. The hotel lobby chairs actually weren't bad, but I think for an event of this size,
can you pop off of one of those?
Bro, you might actually like hurt somebody. You throw one of those chairs around, you ought to kill somebody.
Oh, you might. You can't pick up and throw around a DX racer.
Yeah. Look, as someone who has used the lobby chairs from the Gaylord Texan at a Quakeholio tournament, you can definitely pop off of lobby chairs. And we saw that. Who was it? There was a there were some people in this tournament, Rod, that I had never seen. You know what I mean? I'll say this is the other side of it that I actually did enjoy. That there are some players I had never really seen before, and you saw some pop-offs. Who there was some young kid who beat Tweak and got super stoked off of it, and I was happy for them. Yeah, because like Tweak was definitely like the big player in that bracket. Seemed to have a pretty good day too. Just couldn't put together 3 wins in a couple of those matchups.
Yeah, it's nice to see Tweak back. I think that's another narrative I imagine attached to this. Yeah, we're missing like the heavy hitters, but the one heavy hitter that I think people are starting to forget about, and this is just kind of like the goldfish mentality that Smash has. Like it's always a what have you done for me lately? You lose 2 tournaments and people forget about you. I think people need to realize that Tweak and Mars are still top competitors, even when ESAM, MVD, or not MVD, but at least ESAM, Leo, and a lot of these guys aren't present. But to your point about the popping off, actually what's funny is in God, what fucking game were we doing? I think, was it Samurai Showdown? I think it might have been Samurai Showdown as the final game. And it was a gentleman named Violent Kane. And I'll find I sent the Twitch link, but I'll find it and I'll send it to you. Look, at a fighting game tournament or an event like a Halo event or something, whatever, there's gonna be popping off, okay? Because I'm working fucking hard to win right now. I might pop off. And dude, Violent Kane got so upset that his opponent popped off on him. I think his opponent's name was Big Bates, and he popped off on him. He was just like, "You don't pop off on me. You don't do that type of shit here. You don't do that." I'm just like, hello, you're in fucking Florida, the sweatiest reason for fighting games, and you're in Florida. People just come out the womb popping off. What are you talking about? That's all they do here. What's wrong with you? He's like, no, you don't pop off on me. That's disrespectful. And what's funny is before the match started, he said, dude, you're one of my idols. Like, it's an absolute pleasure to play. It's an honor, man. Like, I want to do well. And he beat him and he popped off. I'm like, dude, you only pop off on good players. You don't pop off on Rod. All right, I'm going to go 0-2. Don't pop off on me. All right. And he got upset about it. So weird. Sorry, but just a weird side story, like about
But
popping off. I just thought that was
Rod,
strange.
someone who's known for his really awkward pop-offs, DeBuzz. What's it gonna take for DeBuzz to win these, man? Because he is legit one of the most talented cerebral players we've ever. Just
Yeah,
feels like he doesn't have luck on his side sometimes. And I also think maybe he overanalyzes himself sometimes, but like, it's
could be
just
a lot of could be a lot of
I
that.
I'm a fan of his. Really
Mm,
do enjoy watching him play. I think he's very talented. He's got three characters he's very good with, right?
hmm
With Rosa, which was his Smash 4 main, and Olimar Alf, and then even what the hell is that lady from Arms?
Oh,
Min Min.
Min.
It's like, well, the lady from Arms.
That's right.
Um, but yeah, like he's solid with each of those players. I feel like he's almost too good with each of them because he has this like indecision
Mm,
that happens. Like if he has any kind of a setback with Alf, or with Alomar, he's very quick to jump away from that character onto someone else. But like, I want to see the dude win. It's been frustrating to like. It's got to be frustrating for him too, because like this
yeah.
seemed like the kind of tournament that was set up for him to win.
Yeah, he's always a bridesmaid, never a bride, and I think it's not only a testament to his skill. I mean, I think he's only getting better, but I
Yeah,
think the ultimate has allowed so many other players to get on their level too. Like, and God, I don't want to take anything away from like players like himself or like Nairo or Zero, any of those guys who are really like prevalent in Smash Four. But there's a very sizable gap between like the characters they played and then a lot of the people that they went against to get there. Like their characters are very good. And Ultimate, let's just be honest, all these goddamn characters are dumb. It's like the dumb, and then it's like bad and then worse. So like, and when I see the Buzz, I'm like, the Buzz is just doing what he's been doing best, still playing his very solid, not campy, but more defensive. You reach, I teach type of gameplay.
yeah.
But honestly, there's just characters and players in this game that can just fight through that. You're
Yeah.
gonna try to wall me out with Min Min. I'm gonna play Kaiju, and guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna turn intangible, and I'm just gonna punch right through that shit. I'm gonna use Terry crack shoot, and I'm gonna break that zone. I'm gonna use Roy. I know he said he has a bit of a cola issue, which means that he has a bit of a Roy issue. Characters that can rush him down, and it's just he's just kind of struggling a little bit. But I'm with
Wait,
you, Asif. Like, I
Or
love
just use Sonic because your name is Sonics.
wait. Was Cola at CEO?
He was not. I don't believe he was at CEO either.
No.
That's another one. That's
Yeah.
another like.
So
just
Wadi
kinda
and
supporting that
MVD
whole
got
thing that-
tied for 7th, and then Mars and Tweak, DeBuzz, and Toast took the rest of the spots. So yeah, no light, no. There's just a
Shout
lot
out
of people
Toast,
missing.
though.
Yeah, shout out to
Straight up,
Toast.
shout out. Toast had himself a tournament.
Mm.
He was playing extreme. That set against Tweak was fucking awesome. Like he went up 2-0. Tweak came back, tied it up 2-2, and Toast held it down in that game 5. Toast was fucking aggressive as fuck in that match. Cause you have to be. It was a boss battle against Tweak. Sephiroth. I heard that Sephiroth music playing in my head that whole time.
It's canon.
I know Toast is a North Carolina guy, but he went up to school in Ohio, so we claim him here in Ohio.
He's all yours.
But also, like, I know, Rod, you love Link. We had a young Link, in the top 3. We had this top 3 was weird as shit.
Yeah.
Terry Bogard made a top 3.
Terry Kazuya. I mean, Riddles is able to take those characters and make some magic happen. He's very good.
Terry's a very strong character. I think right now, when it comes to DLC, it's just, I hate this character, and then we move on to the next character, and people right now are kind of caught wind that Kazu is kind of crazy, but I still think Terry is the worst of the two. I think Kazu Terry is much worse. And no, Terry doesn't turn blue. He's not intangible on his inputs, but when you fight the fighting game characters, and you guys have been playing fighting games much longer than I have, when it comes to a character like Terry, you have to zone him. If you got projectile moves, zone his shit. And, Terry has crack shoot, and his legs, I believe, are intangible on crack shoot, and he can break a zone and get in close. And so there's just a lot of things I think Riddles is doing on top of just mixing it up into a big pot of Riddles just being a great player, and he's implementing that really well.
That explains why Sonic beat him.
Yeah,
talking about zoning. That explains a lot there, Rod.
Oh yeah,
and so Sonic can just he can slow it down.
Yeah, Sonic is just so annoying to play against, especially with a character like Terry or Kazuya. I mean, they thrive on that ground game, and Sonic is just going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
Yep. And Sonic is just not going to allow you to touch him. It was a very strange mix. I will say I don't know if I've seen a run like this from Toast since like Frostbite 2019 or 20. Yeah. But I do agree. I did like the fact that his Young Link was doing damage. And I was a little worried because, as we know, Tweak did play a very strong Young Link in the beginning, so he knows that character in and out. But when you have your arm to the T like Link and Young Link and Toon Link, you got projectiles to get real innovative with the combos. Every Young Link is different, so he was able to persevere.
And honestly, that reverse sweep was in play. Like, it seemed set up for Tweak to do that reverse sweep.
Yeah.
Props to Toast for not losing cool.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a very tough moment to keep your composure and win that game 5, especially when you were up 2, and then just to lose the next. Yeah, that's a very hard momentum to break.
Yeah, but, Ultimate's dead. Let's talk about the best esport.
Yeah, let's talk about the best esport. Exactly. We got about an hour left of the show, and we got so much more to get through, and we got to talk about the best esport in the world. That is Smash Brothers Melee. Smash Brothers Melee also taking place at CEO, with Plup taking first place over Magi. I mean, 6-0, just a solid win. Just no doubt, no hesitation, just taking that win. Kem getting third, Panda getting fourth, HBox and KGH sharing fifth, Akira and Wevins sharing seventh. Rodney, your thoughts, please.
So just really quick, I think Melee has a very fixated opinion on CEO, which it really, really hurts, because when I did CEO in 2017, Jabali actually gave a really heartfelt speech about the importance of Melee and supporting this game, even if it doesn't get company support. And I think people may misconstrue Jabali's words that, well, if Nintendo's not going to support this game, then I would imagine you're going to be the one to do it. But in order for tournaments and I know we did a whole panel on this, big shout out to Denny, for holding it down. These tournaments live off of company support. Like, of course, that didn't always exist, but you want to see Capcom and Tekken World Tour and all these people get involved. But Smash has always been in a really weird spot because they help with registration and numbers, which I would imagine helps with selling sponsorship and stuff. Like, look at all these people signed up. But then, the prize pool doesn't really match what people are typically used to with having that many people in. And when I see Melee CEO, I'm always expecting commentators that I'm not familiar with, and people in the top 8 that I'm not as familiar with as usual, or maybe not the usual suspects for a top 8, more of the top 16, 32 people in that 8 category. But I did know this was going to be Magi's tournament to do really well. I mean, she always plays really well. But we did the Plup Showdown thing, which I know we didn't even get a chance to talk about. But Plup Showdown happened in Jabalian Land Friday night. Wonderful experience. Big shout out to Panda and Red Bull for putting that all together. Magi, that was my first time really watching her play an entire set back to back to back. And I'm like, oh, she's fucked up, in a good way. Very, very good player. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So after watching her play Friday, I knew she was going to do some damage in top 8 on Sunday. And it was
she made some waves at Genesis, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes. Made some big plays at Genesis as well.
Mm-hmm. But
it was cool.
And I never want to take anything away from the players who showed up, right? I'm just gonna throw it out there. Is HBox washed?
So okay, you know what? Listen.
I think he has a strong career. I think he has a very strong career in commentating ahead of him.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian. You know what? After Plup Showdown, the main event of the hour was, okay, Plup is going to play Mewtwo King, then Plup is going to play this player, and then Plup, okay, final match of the night should be Plup HBox. And HBox is in primetime comfy guy mode. No Team Liquid jersey, of course. You can't wear that on the Red Bull stream because it's sponsored by Monster. He's in base set HBox mode. So he's chilling, toes are out, super comfortable, and he gets up on stage and he plays. And I'm doing my thing as the MC. I'm like, hey, yo, so hey, big shout out to everybody who played. I'm saying, good job, club, good job, HBox. And as HBox is walking on stage, he turns around, and I swear, if his head could turn around and the fucking exorcist and look at me, he was like, no, that wasn't a good job. I'm like, nah, it was just, I just got to do my thing. Hey, good job. He said, it wasn't a good job, Rod. I'm like, okay. So like Rod and HBox got to talk. So then afterwards, he talked about, where his mental health has been at, these last so many weeks and months, and imposter syndrome. He feels like he's starting to suffer from a little bit of that. And I told him, like, bro, like,
you can't be an imposter when you won the fucking Esport for 3 years straight.
I was like, dude, you're the fucking man. I was like, get this imposter syndrome shit out of your head, bro. I said, you're the man. I was like, you're the industry GOAT. There's nothing you can't do in the Smash Bros community. Like, just sometimes you don't do good in this area, so then you'll go do something else. You have the ability to jump around.
I'm just saying that as someone who's old enough to have seen his video game skills fall off a cliff,
mm-hmm.
I think maybe HBox is approaching the age where you start to suck at video games, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And also, like, you think about the miles these dudes put on their hands playing these games, practicing,
especially Melee. Melee is just, like, the actions per second rival, like, top-tier real-time strategy play. You know what I mean? Like, the actual actions you are performing per second are right up there with StarCraft and, just the highest level of competitive movement.
I had mentioned this, I don't know, weeks ago on the show. He had kind of, his rest combo was, like, unstoppable 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
He was, If you saw HBox drop and rest on someone, you knew they were gone.
Yeah.
And in the last 2 years, it's just not there the same way. And I know it's a timing thing, and it's where he's putting his time. He's obviously doing a great job as a content creator. He's I wouldn't say he's my favorite commentator.
Sure.
Obviously Rod is. But no, like he fits, like, like in that football commentator booth, how they have like the like the play-by-play announcer, the analyst,
and the color commentary,
and then the color commentator who used to be an athlete.
Yeah.
He fits that role to me. Like,
he does.
I think you put him in a 3-person commentator setup, which I think is what they had for top 8 of Ultimate, right, Rod?
Yes, they had Jackie, the analyst. Yes.
Yep. So I feel like that is the perfect setup for him. Although I really did enjoy when it was Mewtwo King and him taking a set. Or I can't remember, when was that? What was that, Rod?
MomoCon.
That's right, MomoCon. So I did enjoy that too, because it's like 2 goats sitting. But yeah, I think he fits better when you have someone who's doing the play-by-play and someone who's doing the analysis, because he has that expert. He can get in the head of the player, and that is a unique form of commentary that I think that a play-by-play person may not be able to do as well as him. He obviously knows a lot about Ultimate. He pays a lot of attention to Ultimate. For a Melee competitor, he knows a lot about that.
Oh, he's played a lot of Ultimate. I mean, he's just played so much Ultimate, and he's entered tournaments. He's entered tournaments for both games now. I think he could easily commentate both games and use, like you were saying, that tournament experience he has is very invaluable into providing that insight that a lot of commentators just don't have because they haven't been in that seat.
Someone even watching like the whole time. Basically his entire career, and I've never been the kind of Smash fan who boos the guy who's always winning. I usually champion those dudes, even Zero in the past, but during HBox's Melee run, I was like, this guy's unstoppable, and now it's like he's very stoppable.
He's quite stoppable.
To your point about his commentary too, I've always felt like, HBox, of course, is going to give a little bit of like in-depth analysis, a bit of an in-depth look into the person's brain, because more times than not, he's always going to be the commentator on the mic who has been in that spot before. I think where HBox really gets to shine is it makes sense when I see HBox either do pools or top eight. And I know people can make an opinion about his top eight commentary and like why he gets these blocks and X, Y, and Z. But I think his commentary works well given the type of streaming that he does. You know, HBox does so well with the popping off and the reacting and stuff. There are people who just tune in specifically for that, and that really helps sell a top eight moment or a pool match between Noob Slayer 69 and Randy Bobandy. And it works really well. I even noticed it when we worked together at Battle of BC, where like when I was with Nurse for the first half of top eight, it was like, okay, I don't have to suit and tie this, but where there's going to be a bit more of, you know, pre-match, post-match, mid-match banter where we got to break some stuff down. But with HBox, it's like, we can break this thing down or we can just ooh and ah at all the pretty shit. And I'm like, you know what? I'm in an ooh and an ah mood. And I think that's one thing that he's so good at that I think sometimes doesn't get enough shine and recognition. Like, you do have to sell these experiences.
Yeah. Oh no, and that's where I think he has become divisive in the community. Is some people, his fans or other people who just prefer that style. I'm one of them. I enjoy him being on the mic. And then there's some people who are like, I just want a traditional Smash commentator, and that's like,
what is a traditional Smash commentator? You know what I mean? Like,
it's a good question. Yeah,
I don't even know anymore.
Yeah,
I don't either.
It's really hard to say, especially after watching CEO. I honestly couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't even know.
But yeah, like there was a lot of hate on social towards him. I think it's all stupid. Like, I think he's doing a great job on that front. But yeah, as a fan who watches him play, I don't know. I don't know if he has it anymore or if it's like a practice thing.
Well, it's a good segue into our next topic, because I think maybe he just doesn't want to take the time to practice. Maybe he's happy earning his money in other ways than getting top tier placements, because I feel like he's kind of been one of the most vocal people when talking about his payouts in tournament placements, and this CEO was no exception, of course. So getting tied for fifth, netted HBox a comfy, hefty $75. So he was definitely quick to post that on Twitter. You know, putting Jabali on blast. Yes, and I saw Jabali dunk on him, saying, well, if you had placed better, you know, maybe you wouldn't be complaining, which is a fair dunk, very fair dunk. But really, if fifth was $75, what was first place getting? You know what I mean? It's not like first place was getting $1,500.
Also, this is the first Nintendo official license.
Exactly.
And it's $75 for fifth place? Are
so,
you serious?
I don't think CEO really... Yeah, it's not like CEO had any control over the cash prizes if Nintendo were the ones, you know, controlling the payout for this tournament. If Nintendo and Panda are controlling this... Yeah, this is Panda Cup and Nintendo is controlling it, then yeah, CEO, you know, they can't be like, well, here's an extra $1,000 on the side. Nintendo will not allow that, or they lose, you know, that spot. Obviously, they would never be allowed back at CEO again if Jabali were to do that. So he has to go with what Nintendo wants. He has to be like, okay, you know, here you go. Yeah, Panda Cup. I don't know. Like, and also, is it cool to have the first winner of the first Panda Cup thing, a Panda sponsored player? Like,
you know what? You're not the first person who said something about that. A couple people were like, and honestly enough, this was my buddy who does stuff in Halo. I said, I got to introduce you to him. I got a buddy named Alex Refresh who's very, very big on Halo, who's been running tournaments. I was like, dude, wait a minute. I said, my boss, he loves fucking Halo. How have I not introduced you guys? But anyway, he was like, do you guys in Smash have the team sponsored players also play in the tournament that's sponsored by their team? I said, yeah, why? What's up? He's like, dude, you don't ever just wonder, like, maybe they would like make seating and stuff a little bit more in their players' favor? And I was just like,
yeah.
Nah, I was like, no, wait, what? I said, yeah, no way. People do that? He was like, yeah, all the time, bro. I said, oh, not Panda, though. Come on, bro.
I don't know.
Conflict of interest, though. Like,
I think so.
It seems kind of blatant. And isn't Plup Panda?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The first winner of the first Panda Global Cup is a Panda player.
That's weird.
It seems weird to me.
Is Sonic sponsored?
No, I'm sorry. Yes, not the first winner. So like Sonic's is sponsored, but not by Panda. BC.
He's sponsored by Bandits. I
BCS.
believe it's from the DR.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it is weird that I think Plup earned the win.
Oh, of course.
But I don't think that there's anything that shady going on, but there is a huge conflict of interest.
It's just bad optics, right? It just doesn't look good for your cup, right? Because obviously you want your first event to have a good impression, you only get one chance to make one first impression, obviously. So for the payouts to be in question, for the winner, one of the winners being a Panda player, like that just also looks kind of, obviously, I don't think, like you said, I don't think there's any wrongdoing. On the record, Pup earned that win. I doubt there was any, tomfoolery going on in the background to give him easy seeding, so he just had to rocket to the grand finals. Because obviously he was in the losers bracket, right? So he had to reset the bracket in grand finals to take that win, which he did handily. But still, it's still, like, again, it still leaves a little bit of a sour taste, because you're like, well, you see, you don't really see that in other esports where the team, a team member is winning the grand prize of something that's being hosted by said team.
Isn't Esam on Panda?
He is, and he actually couldn't make it because I believe his wife had a medical emergency. So he couldn't make it.
Okay, I was gonna say, how bad do you guys suck when you have players on your own org that won't show up for your turn? Okay, now that makes sense.
Yeah,
and I hope Esam and his fam are okay. But yeah, it's definitely weird, man. It's definitely weird. This seems like, just as a fan, this doesn't seem too good for the Panda Cup.
Yeah, it's not the greatest start.
Yeah, and I think I'm happy that they waited. I'm happy that they waited at least till CEO. And I know that this year for both circuits isn't really exactly what they wanted. I mean, honestly, when you create something, more times than not, like, it's never finished. Like, if you ask people who like write musicals, it's like, it's not finished, but it's what we got. The album's not done, but this is what it is. And I would just like to see more events on it, to be real. CEO, of course, is great. Like, no disrespect to CEO, but like, I mean, Genesis, we're missing like, a lot of good ones. So hopefully 2023, we can get Rod Fest on there. We can get a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like, if this is a situation where Nintendo says no to larger prize pools and the TO is unable to sweeten the prize pool and the Panda Cup people aren't sweetening the prize pool, don't call me, I'm not going to be shocked when Leo skips another one.
Yeah.
I'm just not. And I will say that you had 3 people that secured a spot at the finale now, right? So are they even going to compete in the rest of the Panda Cup tournaments? Like, why
would you? Yeah. What? So you can win your $75 and go to Bennigan's?
You know what I mean? Like, why even care to go to another Panda thing until the end of the year if you're already in the finale?
Yeah. Yeah, take it easy and rest. Go to tournaments with real payouts.
Go to tournaments with real payouts. Maybe there's another summit coming up, or there's Smash World Tour stuff. It really seems to me the MK Leo is like laser focused on World Tour.
Yeah, he loves World Tour.
He wants to win World Tour, and obviously the World Tour has that key word for him, world, right? He had talked about
he wants to be the best in the world, yeah.
He's kind of a global ambassador for Smash.
Yeah.
And he wants to put the spotlight on international things. It really seems like Nintendo / Panda have kind of screwed up here by
They
not
made it an NA only thing.
Commit to this stuff.
Yeah, and then they made it an NA only thing. They made it with no money.
Yeah,
it's just mistakes all around. I think we got to move on though, because we're getting towards the half of the hour already, and we still got half of the show to go through plus sauce talk. So let's move on to a quick commercial break. Obviously, if you're liking what you're watching here, please click that follow button. If you're not already following the channel, click the notification bell so you'll get notified whenever we go live. And if you feel so inclined, you could maybe even subscribe to the channel with $5 easy bucks, or it could even be free with Amazon Prime, because if you got Amazon Prime, and I know you do, you're getting that free, or I don't know how many days shipping. It's not so quick anymore. But anyways, you're getting that free shipping. You're getting your Prime Video. With that, you also get Prime Gaming. They give you a free Prime Gaming sub to Twitch every single month. You can kick that our way. Doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps us bring you all of this amazing content every single week. If you can't watch it all, though, obviously there's so much we're on all the time. You can always head over to YouTube. We got 2 channels over there. Check out Shacknews Games and Gamer Hub videos over on Shacknews. Subscribe to both of those. That way you'll see all of our Twitch VODs, plus thousands of hours of exclusive content, talking previews, reviews, developer interviews, exclusive gaming focused, laser focused on gaming content that you will not find anywhere else. But of course, you can always check us out over on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We got our social media platforms going down. We are all over there at Shacknews on Twitter. We are at Shacknews on Facebook, Shacknews Media on Instagram. And Denny Von Doom, who is usually here, not feeling so well today. Our shout outs to him. Our thoughts and prayers, our love. Please, Denny, hope you're feeling well, and we hope to see you back next week. But yeah, he's holding down our social media channels. He is the one who is behind the scenes over at Twitter and Instagram and all that good stuff. So make sure you go give him some kind words, some your energy. Send Denny your energy in chat, in Twitter, in Instagram, all over the place. And I'm sure he'll see it and it'll make him feel so much better about it. But we also have our own social media platform, if you weren't aware. That's right, we have Shack Pets, the ultimate battle for cuteness. That's our own app. It's free on the App Store, free on the Google Play Store, and it's actually hitting huge numbers. Like, we've got over 1,300 pet pick uploads, which, if I do some quick math, is like, what, almost 1.7 million total combinations of challenges that you could come across in our app. I mean, that's just mind-boggling. Like, 1.7 million. It's crazy. But yes.
Yeah, the amount of challenges became so high that we had to actually limit how many people could do per day.
Wow.
We were going to at least break the server that we were running it on. If not also shacknews.com.
The ultimate battle for cuteness is waging into a war that is breaking the server, all about cuteness. Yep. So yes, get on the app. You can upload pictures of your pets. You can challenge other pets. You can then swipe left and right on all the challenges, decide who is the cutest, or you could do none of that and just scroll through a nice feed of very cute pet pictures at your own leisure. Just take a little bit of time out of your day and unwind, de-stress from all the very stressful things going on in the world around us. Shack Pets is a very great way to take some time out from all of that.
100%. I actually plugged Shack Pets at the end of Jabez on Sunday. I did. I'm gonna find the clip and send it to you guys. But I was like, man, if you guys aren't doing anything, you need to download this app. I'm gonna come down there and no, I didn't threaten them, but I should have. But
you should
have. I had to plug it though. But I was just like, wait a minute, I've been up here and I get to say whatever the fuck I want. You know what? Sign up for Rod Fest and fucking download Shack Pets. What are you doing with yourselves? Do
Shack Pets, baby. All right. Yeah. So let's get into the rest of the show then. Let's hit our last 3 topics and kick them out 1, 2, 3 so we can get into the sauce talk of the day. Obviously, CEO is going to take up the bulk of the show, but there were other things going on. It wasn't the only thing going on in esports. You might think it was. But yes, we had other games being played, like Valorant Champions Tour, and it looks like there was a little bit of a snafu in the VCT Masters 2 qualifying. Looks like FaZe Clan had a power outage in the middle of a match against Xset. Looks like 4 members of FaZe Clan just disconnected during the second round of their lower bracket finals. They rejoined, match resumed, but the damage was done and FaZe lost. Xset takes that win. So, yeah, I mean,
that's not very
sucks, right?
That's not very phase up of them at all.
Not very face up at all. Yeah.
How they
like,
throw it up?
I don't understand. Like, so was there not like a reset or anything like that? It's just,
I believe they said Xset took the round.
Okay.
Because of that, they took the round because of that. Because at first, neither side knew what was going on, and Xset initially thought it was them. Like, what the hell? Like, was this us thing? And it was actually FaZe Clan. And so they said FaZe Clan actually ended up losing the round, and they had to give it to Xset because of that, which I thought was a little fucked. But I was like, I get it though. I completely get it.
I mean, in a controlled situation where, you know, both teams are in a live face-off, you know, all 10 computers are in the same building, if there's a power outage or a, you know, a disconnect, some kind of connection issue, then yes, in those situations, they usually do pause the round, reset, and replay things because that's a controlled environment by the developers and publishers. But if it's like an online thing where if they're not in the same location, then you have to, I guess, yeah, you have to be responsible for your power, for your connection. You know, it's not like you're going to, I mean, you can't lose power and then be like, okay, well, we lost power, so let's reset, because obviously if things were going bad, somebody's just gonna trip the breaker and you know, force a reset. So yeah, I mean, it does suck, but yeah, I could see why in these situations you would have to force the loss.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead. I'm sorry. That, like, with the amount of money on the line for these things, whatever gamer house you have your team at, you should probably have, you know, they're called UPCs.
Yes.
The uninterrupted power supply things.
Yeah.
They're like power bricks that have a little bit of power in them. Everything you do is get a generator, so even in the event of a zombie apocalypse, you can keep playing in your esport tournament.
Yep.
But like these orgs, isn't FaZe going public for like $1 billion sometime soon?
Yes, they have a SPAC. We talked about their financial SPAC that they are currently trying to push on to everybody else like it's a good idea.
So
NFTs.
So, I'm not going to talk about any of that.
No.
But if you got that much money, if you're being valued at that much,
yeah,
you can
$1 billion valuation.
You can afford some fancy power strips and a couple things.
Well, yeah, you get a big ass UPS, like you were saying, an uninterruptible power supply that provides at least 15-20 minutes of power to all of your computers, and your modem and everything. And then
you can get a natural gas generator.
Yeah,
so
you would just be able to switch from your UPS to your generator, or just have the generator powering the UPS. There are ways to do this, and you would especially, with this is the VCT Masters, this is the Valorant Champions Tour. There is no bigger Valorant competition than this.
That's what I'm saying. If you're an org the size of FaZe, they should have the kind of backup.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I'm not blaming the players. Blaming the org.
Yeah,
it's not like the players are rolling in dough, and it sucks for them. This really sucks.
It really,
we
because
saw this happen.
They had to give a loss for something that was completely out of their control.
And they did so well just last week too. And it's now you're dealing with this. It's just fucking terrible. It sucks.
About a month ago, we saw this happen at an in-person Halo event.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. But they reset and replayed that round.
But it was also dumb because they started it from where the score was.
Yeah.
Right. So that's not really a reset. That's just more I don't know.
That's a resume, but everyone's not in the same place, and you don't have the same armor and weapon and ammo, and
that's what I mean. A proper reset or like a proper like restart, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
Everyone getting all of their weapons back.
The round the round starts at 0-0 and you go, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, like, I put an asterisk whenever I see something like that. So yeah, this sucks. I feel bad for the players. I do. I can't imagine having to grind Valorant all day long and then some bullshit like this.
And then the power goes out, yeah.
Like that really sucks.
That's a bad day. That's a bad day for FaZe Clan, for the players there. And yeah, as Asif was saying, FaZe, get your shit together. Like, you're worth $1 billion. You can afford to not have things like this happen.
Yeah, like hook your players up with unlimited or an uninterrupted power supply. Maybe get a generator for the gamer house that you have them locked up in. Maybe unchain them from their desks for like a few days. Let them go outside.
And for God's sakes, give them more than just pizza rolls. Give them a vegetable. Yeah. Give them a vegetable.
Yeah. All right. These poor guys, they can't just live off Totino.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about another big gaming brand, and that's Envy Gaming, who are owner of the Dallas Envy Overwatch League team. I mean, you had to have, they spent how many millions of dollars to get that Overwatch team? 500 million or something, like insane. So yeah,
it was either 25 or 35.
25 or 35 or 50 million dollars. Okay, not 500, but quite a lot.
Still ridiculous.
Still a ridiculous amount. I'm getting a little to the hyperbole range here. But yes, Envy Gaming is now rebranding, retiring their brand, and folding themselves into Optic Gaming. So it looks like we got kind of a merger, one of the first big esports gaming mergers going on here.
Well, I think this was almost rumored to happen. I want to say about a year or so ago. I remember reading something about this back in like October or November that, you know, some of the teams were going to start merging over, but I didn't know that the whole company was going to do it. And now here we are. I think that was breaking news as of today too. Like that, I had like a run of shows and I was like, oh wait, this just happened. I got to throw this in there real quick. Luckily enough, I took out that Richard Lewis story because I didn't know if anybody wanted to pull up and dunk.
No, we don't need to cover that.
No, I'm joking. I just, if anybody wanted to dunk on him, but I thought
is this less of a merger and more of an acquisition, considering it's not going to be like Optic Envy, because it's just Optic. Envy is gone.
Yeah, I think this is more of like it feels more like of an acquisition more than anything. You know, it was rumored to be something a little bit different last year, but I didn't know that they actually wanted to, like, you know, fully engulf. So.
Yeah.
I mean, Envy is one of the better Rocket League, so it's a huge win on that front for Optic. They now have one of the better Rocket League franchises out there. I don't know if Optic had their own at that point. I don't think they did. So Optic's probably a bigger brand now. It's hard to say.
But, well, it's definitely a bigger brand now that they've absorbed Envy and all of their teams.
A day before this happened, I would still say that Optic was probably bigger.
Yeah. But yes, you speak of their Rocket League team, and that's where I know Envy as well. I've heard of Envy through their Rocket League success. I actually, the news that they owned an Overwatch team was actually kind of news to me, but it makes sense. So hopefully they will continue their success in Overwatch 2 under the new Optic Gaming brand. But really, I hope their Rocket League team continues to be a powerhouse in the sport. This really shouldn't be more than just a rebrand, right? Like, I don't think that they would really shake up how things are running.
No, I would be fools to do that. Envy is a very dominant brand. Yeah. Just at this point, just put everybody in some new jerseys and slap some new logos on. Like, do not. I've just seen some of the players were getting in on the fun too, and like talking about we are now this instead of that. Like it was like a template tweet. But I'm like, do not tweak anything. Okay, just put them in some new clothes.
Yeah, that's fine. You can change their Twitter names and give them New Jersey.
Yep.
Call it a day.
All right, so congratulations to Envy and Optic Gaming for becoming an even bigger esports organization. Let's move on to an esport we don't really talk about a lot, and that's because it's a MOBA that kind of got overshadowed in the years by the more popular isometric ones, and that's of course Smite, the MOBA that takes place from a much closer third-person perspective. Smite was popular a while ago, kind of, fell down, compared to League of Legends and Dota 2, of course. But it's still a popular game. People are still playing it, and there's still money to be made if you are invited by Miskiff, that is. Miskiff was co-owner of the OTK, games. They just had their annual OTK Games Expo, and during that, Miskiff announced that with a partnership in the mythology-based Smite, there's going to be unique skins, unique voice packs, and a $100,000 Smite Invitational. I mean, that's big money for the old Smite. Good for them. What did you think of this, Rodney?
My stance. I love the fact that content creators are kind of forming a path for themselves. If I could even call Miz, I guess he is a content creator, but the dude is like so goddamn prominent at this point. I mean, to do your own game expo, what else?
He co-owns a games, publisher or whatever. Like, not publisher, but OTK. I mean, they're definitely making moves.
Yeah, it's so dope to see. Very, very happy to see this trend of creators getting involved. This one, of course, being done the right way. We have seen a pattern of creators getting involved and fumbling the bag for a lot of things, but I think, given his track record and his history, he's done really great things, not just the esports hemisphere, but just gaming in general. So hopefully next when we up the ante, that's all I ask for. 100,000, fuck it, make it 200,000, make it 300. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keep going because people love this stuff.
Yeah, they do. I
got nothing to say about this.
Yeah, it just seems like it seems like a weird game to really like get your hype in. I feel like
that's what I said too. I was like, nice Mike.
Yeah, well, I feel
exactly.
It's just this is the game, right? Like this is the one you want people to play. I mean, I don't know.
I'm glad you guys brought that up because, come on, you don't think that this was like back of the room deal? Like, hey,
this is High Res Studios. I guarantee this is High Res Studios. Yes, High Res Studios gave Miskiff a bag of money. They're like, please get people to play our game again.
Yeah, because no one here was clamoring for Smite to come back with Undertaker. If you say that, you're lying. That's like claiming we were all clamoring for a Heroes of the Storm season to come out.
Yes, exactly.
But no, I don't know. That company, OTK, is really something else.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. Donkey dunked on them pretty well during his anti-EU this weekend. But right, you're talking about holding your own virtual expo. You're at a company that's done that 3 years in a row.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It's not that hard. It's just, it is hard. It takes a lot of work, a lot of pre-production stuff. And I saw the OTK production; it was good and everything. But yeah, I don't know.
So this tweet was deleted.
Wait, what? Is it really?
I'm trying to load up the tweet for the B-roll, and it's gone. Oh, and I didn't get the URL is correct because the pre-cached preview in the Google Doc is still there. It says It says $100,000 OTK Smite Invitational featuring Germa, Lyric, Clint, and more, and Dave. In the Google Doc, I can see that in the preview. But if I click on it and go to the actual, it's gone. This page does not exist.
Does Lyric play Smite?
I mean, he'll play it for a portion of $100,000. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
But this might be changed. This is breaking news, everybody. This whole Smite Invitational might be getting shaken up because that tweet does not exist.
It was supposed to be right now, wasn't it? Was it supposed to be happening now?
Is it happening? Is that why it doesn't exist anymore? Because it's already over?
Maybe it might be over. But I thought that was supposed to be happening. Well, why would you delete it if it was over though? That's still spooky.
It's still. I mean, he did tweet that. He did tweet that they got Smite over League of Legends for viewers on Twitch. So maybe it was only it took place today. It's already over.
Who won?
Let's find out, shall we? The results, everybody.
Yeah, because while I was putting this to run a show, it was
together.
Oh man, this is exciting. We gotta know. We have to know who won. Why would you delete the tweet though?
I don't know. Why would you wear that much eyeliner?
So it looks like the results haven't been posted yet on this article, but it did go down with Team Clint Stevens featuring Mango. So Clint Stevens' team had Connor Eats Pants, Atriak, Mango, Siren Incon, Pokelal's Russell, Sherf 4, Noko, and Weekend on Team Germa. Some other people I don't know, Lyric. Trying to shout out names I actually recognize, and I don't even recognize another single one.
Man, imagine if, sorry, you brought up the GOAT. Imagine if Mango gave a shit about Panda Cup.
Mango cared more about playing Smite for $100,000 than he did about Panda Cup. That is a fact.
Can you blame him after seeing how much HBox made?
I mean, it's not a bad point.
And I love Mango. Mango's the goddamn GOAT. We're not hating on him at all for this. Great.
No.
Props to him for participating in whatever the hell this is.
Well, when I find out who did win the bulk of this $100,000 for playing this MOBA that just nobody cares about anymore, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, Hi-Res Studios had to have just put up the majority of this money because I can't see it happening any other way. And you know what, people? I think with that is your esports news of the day. Yes, that was your uplifting, enlightening story of the day. I don't know, probably not, but it was there.
I
was too. That is going to do it, though, for the Wide World of Esports news. However, we still got some sauce talk to get into. We got 15 minutes, guys, so let's hit it. Let's get into some sauce talk. The first story of the day is one that I'm glad you put on there, Rod, because it's just so delicious. The Bored Ape Yacht Club had a restaurant. I didn't even know they had a restaurant, or somebody started a restaurant based on the ape NFTs. And of course, one of their whole things was that you can pay crypto to buy your food. Well, guess what? You can't do that anymore because crypto's not worth as much as it used to be, so they don't want it, all right? You can buy your food with cold hard cash. You get your Bitcoin out of the Bored Ape NFT store.
These jokes just write themselves. It's insane.
It is ridiculous. So yeah, only 2 months since it launched, this restaurant called Bored and Hungry has stopped accepting cryptocurrency. They're just not going to do it anymore. Yeah, because I guess if it's currently trending down, all the money you make one day isn't worth as much the next day, right? So
let's say you're profitable selling whatever food it is, and then you're like, okay, that'll be X amount of Bitcoin to buy this hamburger.
Yeah.
And then Bitcoin craps its pants the next day and it's down 20%. You're like, well, shit. It was a profit yesterday, but now I lost 10% because, restaurant margins are not great.
No.
They tend to be single digit. So a volatile currency like Bitcoin, if you want to even call it a currency, I wouldn't. But, if you want, this just highlights how shitty of a medium of exchange cryptocurrency is. And also, it's proven to be a shitty store of value, too. So I'm not really sure what we're doing here with fucking mining digital currencies with video cards so that people can buy hamburgers. This is solving problems that didn't exist. So good riddance. And
Absolutely.
Also the whole Bored Ape Yacht Club is kind of
it's racist as fuck. It's racist as fuck. Let's just put it out there.
Say it.
Yeah.
Let's just put it out there. It's racist.
Bingo.
And it's like cringy. Like,
yeah,
people are like that oblivious to how this could be racist. Like, I don't want to get too into it, but
yeah.
good. I'm happy that this restaurant did this. I think it's stupid that the restaurant exists at all to begin with. I'm not like someone who's super anti-crypto. I just think we should be using it to solve problems that need solutions instead of running around the world trying to figure out problems that don't exist that this thing can solve.
Well, and that's usually what ends up happening, I think, with cryptocurrency. They try to end some shit before it starts, or and then you end up finding out that now the new solution is worse than the initial problem. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
it's not.
if you've heard of stable coins or anything, like that's one of the grifts that completely exploded in the last month, where they're like, you can hold on to this and it's like having a savings account. And then they all lost 98% of their value. And that's like, have you ever had a savings account where you just went in there and were like, hey, 98% of my money's gone? No, because banks actually back our account. Where this whole, yeah, everyone's really obsessed with decentralized finance being the future. I'm like, yeah, it's great and all until you get screwed over. And then there's no one to back you up. There's no federal insurance for your deposits. Like,
True.
I don't know. It's such a mess. This is all so dumb, though. I feel like every time we talk about cryptocurrency, it feels like we're on a really bad episode of Silicon Valley.
It absolutely does. Yeah, this is like this whole thing could have been the B plot of a Silicon Valley episode. This whole restaurant opening up and shutting down, or not shutting down, but stopping to take the payment, the one currency that they were founded upon. Yeah, I agree with Asif, and this cat right here, this famous grumpy cat, good.
Yeah, I don't like, and I feel bad if you're losing money in crypto. I'm not here to cheer for you. I'm sorry that you're losing. That sucks.
Get your money out. Put it in something better,
like Nintendo Common.
There you go. All right, let's move on to our next Sauce Talk story with KFC thinking that the spork needs a redesign. So KFC is coming out with a new spork. A new spin on the spork. The new.
So they've already innovated enough in heart disease that they're just going after utensils now.
Yes,
it's like heart disease, Jack Harlow dinners, sports. So
that's right.
This is supposed to play into the whole finger looking good. It said, well, you know what? Why don't we put the sporks on the fingers, and then that way they can just play. But if you look at the sporks now, look, you and me, awesome, all of us, we are grown fucking men, all right. And when it comes to food that we deem delicious, I'm not here to take baby ass bites. There's nothing cute about the way I eat.
You can get you get 4 kernels of corn on that thing,
dude. I will inhale some sides like fucking Shaggy and Scooby Doo. Get these sporks out of here. Get them out.
Wait, I gotta see this.
What is this? A spork for ants?
Dude, this is a spork.
Are you saying this goes on the finger?
Yeah, it goes on your fingertip.
Yeah, I'm looking at this.
And you're supposed to eat this with a spork that fits onto your fingertip. Instead of, you could just hold it. You could just hold it. But no.
Right. Imagine the boardroom meeting for this. They just hired those new interns, and it's just like, we got the new thing we're gonna fucking defeat Chick-fil-A and Popeyes. Just here, finger looking good. What if we actually allowed them to lick their fingers metaphorically? What do you got in mind? Dude, put a fucking spork on your index finger and eat 4 corners of corn at a time.
That looks really dumb.
Genius. This is genius, Rod.
And they're just like, yo, who is this guy? Where's he from? He needs a raise. Who is he?
So are they charging separately?
Give this man a raise.
Something like, if you go there, you can just get.
Let's find out. Let's see. To use, simply place your finger in the KFC space. I don't need...
I understand how to use it.
They are available now for free with the purchase of a KFC Sides Lovers Meal on the app, KFC.com, or in restaurants June 21st through July 12th, or while supplies last.
I would say that it's priced correctly.
Yeah, I would say it's priced correctly as well. They got to give these fucking things away.
Well, I don't understand with this new fandom with like food and fingers are. Like I like finger food, but like remember before we had the mustard and ketchup flavored fingernail polish, and now we got fucking sport finger things. Like what the the children like this type of stuff. Children like bendy straws and weird shit. Grown people. If I walk into a KFC. And I don't ever expect to see either of you two at a KFC. Both of you two seem to be men of taste. But if I walk into a KFC, Asif, and I see you with sporks on your fingers, you and I are going to have some problems. Like,
that's not going to happen.
Mr. Khan, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Like, I haven't. Yeah. Look, I may own stock in the company that owns KFC, but I haven't eaten that shit in like 20 years. Just because I'm a member of PETA. I'm a member of PETA, and I got these videos that made me not want to eat KFC.
I would imagine so.
But I'm not endorsing PETA or KFC or these stupid fucking sports.
Nobody's endorsing the finger spork. That is ridiculous. Get it out. You
no
know
one asked for
Get
that.
it out of here. Get it out of here.
Give us another double down or something.
I hate the double down. I hate it as a concept and as a sandwich, but I'll take it over a finger spork.
At least it was innovative.
At least it had its purpose.
Okay, so what's more useful?
I don't know.
A Bored Ape restaurant where you pay with currency, cryptocurrency, or a finger sport?
That is,
the Bored Ape, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
They're both pretty fucking useless, Asif. They're right up there.
In a pinch, Brian. In a
pinch, you can use that spork. I mean, yes.
You know what I mean? Like, no one gives a shit about your Bored Ape picture that they could screenshot.
That's true. Nobody,
like, I could eat ice cream with this thing, you know?
You could dig into a Frosty with that, and you would enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of Frosties, because you can only get those at Wendy's, you can't get them at KFC. Wendy's, I got Wendy's on the brain. Wendy's is offering a free breakfast sandwich via the app with any purchase through June 30th, 2022. So this is more like just a public service announcement than news. So go get your free sandwich, everybody.
Yeah, I wanted to put that in
with the Wendy. Why is the Wendy girl using a Meta Quest?
Well, and so that's what initially made me click, because I said, "Dear God, have they opened up a goddamn Wendy's in the metaverse? Can I get a 4 for 4?"
Yes, you have to visit Wendyverse.com.
Yep.
To claim the offer.
It's called Wendyverse.
God damn it.
I know, Rod.
Why did they have to make this bad?
Rod.
Why did they have to take a good thing and spoil it?
I don't know why they had to throw a freaking Oculus Quest 2 on Wendy. There was no reason for this.
The Meta Quest.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Because that's such a great brand, Brian.
It is so bad. I want to watch Meta World News on my Meta Quest. That's what I want to do.
With Meta World Peace.
With Meta World Peace, that's right.
See, I bought Shackverse.com.
Okay.
So
someday Shaq could be on the Shaq. Yeah, Shaq is in the metaverse then.
Yeah, yes, we are. So you can go to Shackverse.com and you click on the Lola wearing the VR headset, and then I come to your house and slap you because what the fuck are you doing?
It's actually a really good use. That's the best use for the metaverse I've ever heard.
With a handful of finger sporks, you got it.
A handful of finger sporks.
What did the 4 fingers say? 5 fingers say to the face. Yeah, I mean, look. I'll go to any dumb website for a free Wendy's sandwich. They got some good sandwiches.
Yeah, I mean, a free spicy chicken sandwich? Well, it's a free breakfast sandwich. So it's only for a free breakfast sandwich?
Whoa.
Their breakfast is good. Okay.
Rod, I haven't been awake or present at a Wendy's to eat breakfast since the Obama administration.
It's been a while, boss. It's been a while.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I think Asif is passing on the Wendyverse and the free breakfast sandwich.
I'm not passing on it. I'm happy for everyone. I think if you're out there and you want a free sandwich, you should do this thing.
If you're awake in the morning to go get a Wendy's breakfast sandwich.
At the same time, like if you watched our Sauce Talk panel with Chef Mike, I mean, McDonald's may not have wanted breakfast to be 24 hours.
No.
So there's some hatred going on there to breakfast at these various establishments. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, I know all about
And
that.
shame on them for putting Wendy in a VR headset.
Yes, exactly. That's the point we should be taking. Shame on you, Wendy's, for treating the Wendy girl this way. She does not deserve to be in such a contraption. You get that contraption off of her face. She's a nice girl. Didn't
Dave
deserve
Thomas
it.
would not pull any of this shit.
No. David Thomas wouldn't have any.
If you pitched Dave Thomas on a metaverse marketing plan, he would have physically thrown you out of the headquarters.
Out the fucking window.
Yeah, he would have literally taken you by your head and just tossed you out the window.
That's beautiful. And with that image, I think we're going to close up Sauce Talk for the day and get into our Shacknews, Shack Pets Showdown, the Cortex Carnage report for the week to cap off the show. And with that, let's talk 8 Mikey. You know 8 Mikey won it for the week. Good job. And no, I'm sorry. Wow. Great job, 8 Mikey. And Mason, congratulations to you for winning the chatty by talking about games and stuff. Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought you could do it? Mason does it, though. So congratulations to both of them. But that's not all the news for the Cortex Corner. Yeah, the plot has thickened. It has gotten thicker. Oh, there's the Google Doc. Google Doc. It's up on the screen. Let me bring up the other article I wanted to show you. And that is a new challenger, the McAdoo. Yes,
I'm pronouncing it McAdoo.
Mac, okay, giving him the silent A. So McAdoo.
Like the Scottish way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure. It's either Mackenzie or Mackenzie, right? Or it's McAdoo or McAdoo.
McAdoo.
McAdoo or McAdoo.
I like McAdoo. Sure McAdoo. It sounds better to me. But yeah, anyway, McAdoo is coming out of nowhere. Yeah, brand new user. Came out of nowhere. And is putting up 8 Mikey levels of points. Won 2 days in a row. Hasn't won a week yet, but literally just got the app, so hasn't even been able to win for a week. So yeah, things are getting pretty interesting.
Got the app last and placed 3rd overall. So this is someone who downloaded the app, really likes it, and apparently is into the meta, right? Of uploading images, challenging other people, voting for your pet. They seem to have gotten everything.
Yeah.
They've already uploaded 25 images, which is, not that's a decent amount to do in less than a week, right? We don't limit it, so you could upload 100 if you really want. But yeah, this is, as the creator of this dumb app and the Cortex gamification engine, it's not that I don't like seeing 8 Mikey win every day. It's fine. I love that he plays the game.
Yeah.
But this really feels like for the first time we have a new challenger that's appeared that can rival the GOAT.
Yeah. But somebody who just really likes using the app, Yeah.
Yeah. So it's exciting.
Yeah, and if you look at this list, lots of Shack Pets users. Max My Puppy, Nibi Mono, Poop the Cat. These are all Shack Pets users, people who just love using Shack Pets.
Yep. So it's exciting time over at that app. We just, during E6 we pushed our 1.0.6 update where we added the bookmark kind of feature with buddies. I think that's really changed how people play. And then also the filters, being able, like, if you're a cat lover like Rod there, now go to latest pets, hit the filter button, and you can just look at all the cats on the platform.
It's beautiful.
So it's not that I always want to give users optionality, even if they have terrible taste like Rod.
Rod, it's okay. Rod, I love cats as well.
No, I understand. And your cat, Brian, your cats are adorable, and I love every animal that's on the platform. So I don't want to hate on anyone, but I understand that some people want to just look at cats. Some people just want to look at dogs.
That's true.
And also, maybe if you're out there challenging, you only want to challenge the same species.
Yeah. Because you want to see if your cat would beat other cats or your dog, so on and so forth. Yeah.
because I think sometimes people just vote for cat versus dog on the votes. But if you're challenging, you can limit who you're challenging.
That's interesting. That's a great idea. And just another way you guys are making Shack Pets more functional and more fun.
I would say that these last updates, 1.04, 1.05, 1.06, were a lot of features that may have missed launch due to scope. These were ideas I had years ago that I really wanted to implement. I'm happy to have them in there now. This next update is the one that we're working on right now. It's going to take a while. So 1.0.6 is the version. This is going to be the version for a minute here.
Okay.
And I think it's pretty fully featured.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, no, we're excited. Continue to push the app. E6 was great for it. And yeah, we're running into Steve Tenda, so we should wrap up soon.
That's right. That's what I was going to do. I was going to say, I think that's a good time for us to wrap up this Wide World of Electronic Sports, episode 138. I have been Brian Leffler, your co-host for the show, joined as always by Rodney Conyers Jr., my other co-host for the show, and the man with the folding chair, Asif Khan. Thank you for coming in and bringing in us your insight. Guys, that's going to do it. Please stay tuned for Steve Tendo coming up soon, right after we get out of here. So stick around. We're just doing them back to back. Don't want to go anywhere. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Rod, are you in Jersey or are you in Nebraska?
Mike is hot. Hot Mike. So hot. No, you guys are fine. They can't hear you anymore.